Good afternoon, good late night, and good morning in different part of the world. Today we have. I will start my show with giving blessings of everyone wherever you are, whatever you are doing. You should be happy, and I wish you a prosperous day and life. Today we have a very interesting event called Invest in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a name which is, whenever it comes, it glorify our faces, and we feel more attached and associated with Saudi Arabia for obvious reasons. Saudi Arabia is a very promising country, and over the years, Saudi Arabians has produced the best economy and the best culture, and everything is amazing. It's a population of 34 million people. It's a full of culture. You have deserts. You have Islamic. Uh, lot of history, and the culture and the people are amazing, and it's more amazing in terms of its economy, because economy is big, country itself is big, and the organization size is extremely good. And you should be knowing that almost 800 billion dollar GDP is for Saudi Arabia. It's one of the key player in the world, and of course, it's a investment powerhouse, and it's the heart of Arab and Islamic world. Of course, we want to pay the tribute to the leaders who has built up such a amazing country and society, and they are having a good governance, which is really exemplary across the globe. And I will start with a statement of His Excellency Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. He says that my first objective is for our country to be a pioneering and successful global model of excellence on all the fronts, and I will work with you to achieve that. So, such a clear vision with the full support, because leadership and citizen uh, together, they can form the better country. And here it will be worth to mention the quotation of His Excellency Mohammed bin Salman. He says it's my pleasure to present a vision of Saudi Arabia, which is ambitious, of course, yet achievable, and which express long-term goals and expectations in terms of the country's strength and the capabilities. So, if you see Saudi Arabian economy, the size of the country and the GDP, it's really amazing, and it's growing day by day, and it brings a lot of opportunities in the country. Today we have speakers who has been connected with Saudi Arabia for long, and they have been from different part of the world: United States, Australia, UK, Europe. So we have a global audience who's actually going to be talking about their own experiences while living and managing businesses, giving advices to the businesses. So it will be really an interactive and very insightful experience that we are going to have today. Saudi Arabia is very popular, and the new Saudi Arabia, which we called, is going to be an amazing Saudi Arabia, which is focusing on building a vibrant society. The society which will lead. They have strong roots, a culture, the life, and the strong foundation is going to create a vibrant society. So if you see in the recent past, there is a lot of upgrade in terms of entertainment industry and in infrastructure and in all that stuff. And of course, we are going to discuss the driving economy. We have a very good panelists and speakers who are going to discuss about the economic prosperity, the plans, and the real statistics that will be really interesting and motivating for the investors who are looking and want to be in Saudi Arabia for expanding their businesses, because it's a real market. It's a huge market, and Saudi Arabia is a heart of the world, controls or supplies, manage logistic to the whole Middle East, Africa, and to 3 continents. So it's really a big market. So we will discuss the rewarding opportunities that are available, and then, if you want to invest for long term, so what will be the vision? And Saudi Arabia is open for the businesses, starting from the airport. There is a welcome policy from Saudi Arabia. You can own your own business 100% by yourself. So it's a great change and positive news for those who always feel that you need a local sponsor and then you can do a business in Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia offers 100% ownership to the foreign businesses. That is an amazing upgrade, and I'm sure a lot of companies can get benefit out of these changes. And of course, how Saudi Arabia is leveraging their position in the region and where they are and where they want to be. This is we are going to discuss. It's actually the Vision 2030, and of course, leaders' visions who gives direction and the people and the stakeholders follows, and then country becomes really good and amazing. So, and of course, we will talk about where we stand, what are the opportunities, what are the sectors that Saudi Arabia, business in Saudi Arabia is good for. And previously, Saudi Arabia was an oil-based economy, but as we understand, Saudi Arabia is shifting towards a non-oil-based economy, which means that your GDP ratios are changing, and we can expect that very soon the 50% of the GDP should belongs to non-oil businesses. So it's really an amazing agenda for the day. Saudi Arabia is heading towards creating the world-class cities like New York, London, Paris. So people are going to benchmark them to the world economies and the world cities. And of course, Saudi Arabia is going to increase their spendings on culture and entertainment, which is a growing industry, and it's really I feel a great opportunity for those companies who are in leisure industry and entertainment. Saudi Arabia is now open for you, and you can plan. Of course, we can assist you in planning, entering, and we can help you to explore Saudi Arabia in a better way. So it will become really an easy and manageable exercise for you. And of course, social capital index is also a focus for Saudi government, and they are really working on it to transform from 26 to 10 points. Life expectancy means providing citizen residents quality of life, health care. So this is a major focus. And today in our show, we are honored that we have the leading hospital representative who is going to explain us the achievement of them in Saudi Arabia in the healthcare. They brought a lot of new things. And we have adopted a group of doctors who's joining us live from London. They are talking about the minimal invasive surgery, the robotic ones. which is less painful and fast recovery solutions. And that's going to revolutionize the whole bunch of healthcare. So Saudi government is really interested to increase the average life of the citizen. Look at the vision here. Look at the vision that the government is actually want people to provide them health care in order to increase their average life so they can have a better life in this world. And of course, unemployment is always major focus on a visionary government. So they want to reduce the unemployment from 11.6 to 7%, which is a really dynamic approach. And of course, it's followed by a lot of strategies. Like if you want to increase employment, we know we need to start from the policy, then we have to build up the zones where people will find how easily people can come, how to upgrade the skills, knowledge, abilities, and how to increase the GDP. This all is connected with the employment. So in today's shows, we are going to discuss all this, that what is the plans and how it is actually being implemented, and how the people will share their views about the successful vision. A woman is always very important, and so the government uh, is focusing on women participation. Currently, it is 22% in workforce, and they want to lead it to the upper percentages, which is a great vision of the leadership. SME sector is always a very important sector for a country, and any country who wants to grow, SME plays a great role in this. Like if you see the United States of America, it has a major SME as industry, and every country, of course, SME is a great small medium enterprises. These are small companies, but they are huge in numbers, so it contributes to the GDP as a total. So the government is also working on SME sectors, and as this SME sector is really going to create a change in the economy. And of course, the plans for look at the vision. The any country want to grow, firstly they need to make a sovereign fund. This fund is currently, the Saudi Arabia has a public investment fund form, which is currently 600 billion Saudi riyal, and the target is to make it to 7 trillion Saudi riyal, which is a great vision. I can say the economy and the economic vision of the team and the leadership, because any country you want to grow, the first reality is the money. And if you inject money in the government funds, so it will be an amazing revolution onwards that you can experience it. So of course, the GDP has to be increased, and private participation is very important, and public-private partnership is a growing trend. So there are a lot of multinational companies entering in Saudi Arabia, partnering with the public sector, and they are the private sector. So public-private partnerships are really interesting and very, very important. So with this, of course, there are a lot of things to talk. Saudi Arabia is a great economy. They have tourism, religious tourism. Every year, people come to do Hajj and pilgrim, and they have history. They have so there is a continuous tourism in the country, but now tourism spectrum is bigger. You have Red Sea, you have the Makkah, you have Medina. You are an investment powerhouse. You're attracting entertainment industry. You are becoming a tourist place people can visit. It's very easy to enter in Saudi Arabia, and all is looks amazing, and we wished to accomplish this task, and this vision should come true. All our blessings are with Saudi Arabia. With this, I want to introduce you with our first speaker of the day. So the first speaker is Muhammad Ali Shahid. He has hand-on experience living in Saudi Arabia. He has special love and care. And of course, once he comes, so he's going to discuss today the energy sector and his experiences in Saudi Arabia. So over to you, Ali.
Hi all. I believe this presentation is being watched live across the globe. So thank you for joining us today. We all be talking about investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia, and more specifically to me, I'll be talking about the renewable energy sector in Saudi Arabia. So I just want to make sure if the slides are available. Yes, I am presenting the slides rightly. So just a bit of background about myself. I grew up in Saudi Arabia for a good part of my life. I spent 20 years in Saudi Arabia. I did my schooling in Saudi Arabia, went to UK to study, and then moved back to Saudi Arabia and joined consultancy sector where I worked for Colliers and then for KPMG, working on multi-million-dollar projects. It was across the sectors like real estate, energy, F&B, you name it. So I've worked for about 5 years in Saudi Arabia, moved to Australia in 2017, and have been working in the consultancy sector for 2 years and recently moved into the energy sector. Saudi Arabia is home to me. I've got my parents still living there, so there's a connection to Saudi Arabia which never ends, and obviously it won't end for the rest of the life. There's a lot of memories, and have actually seen Saudi Arabia change throughout those 20 years. More recently, I was in Saudi Arabia about 1 year ago, and I could see the time since I left in the last 2 years, how Saudi Arabia has shifted and actually made movements towards the betterment of the population and for the economy altogether. So today I'll be talking more specifically on the renewable energy side of things, because what I do have to say is before I really start on to diving deep into the renewable energy side of things, let me just move on to the first slide, and we see where does Saudi Arabia really stand in terms of their greenhouse emissions. Actually, before this whole presentation started, I was actually talking to one of the other guest speakers in today's conference, Aliza Ayaz, and we had some good points to discuss. Aliza has done some work on climate change and whatnot, and she mentioned to me that Saudi Arabia ranked 9th in terms of the greenhouse emissions in 2018. And 40% of the MENA greenhouse emissions were coming out of Saudi Arabia. Now, those are drastic numbers, which definitely, obviously coming from an oil-based economy, as Dr. Musa was saying, Saudi Arabia has always been an oil-based economy. So once it is oil-based, you expect that there's going to be more burning of fossil fuel, which would eventually be used for your development of energy and whatnot. So if I was to look at it this way, if I just tell you what, until 2019, 57% of electricity generation in Saudi Arabia was being done from gas. Another 42% was being done from oil burning, and it was less than 1% in terms of renewable energy for Saudi Arabian electricity generation. Now those are drastic numbers, but as we see Saudi Arabia moving towards an economy which is more focused towards helping it moving out of this oil-based sector and then moving on to tourism and whatnot, they've also concentrated their efforts into developing the country as a more renewable and green country. So if I go to the next slide now, so where does Saudi Arabia really stand in terms of its position to generate renewable energies? Now, the thing with Saudi Arabia is the geographic location of Saudi Arabia. It just fits perfectly in terms of the solar farm side of things. It fits perfectly in terms of where the sunshines are, where the sunshine is, and how much daylight they get in a year. They've got some of the longest days in a year, which really help. So the average day in Saudi Arabia is like average sunshine day is about 9 hours a day, which is one of the hottest and longest days that you can expect in terms of generating solar energy. If we look at the wind side of things, Saudi Arabia has got wind speeds of 6 to 8 millimeters per second, which again, geographically, with the area that we have, you could put windmills across the country, like with that vast desert area, and you could be generating electricity, green energy, which doesn't really affect the atmosphere and the climate altogether. That said, so in terms of Saudi Arabia's geographical location for developing solar and wind plants, they are ideally located. Next up, just diving deep in terms of the solar position of Saudi Arabia, the Tabuk side of things, and the Tabuk side of things, the Asir side of things, these, like in terms of Saudi Arabia, where you could really target in terms of putting your solar plants. Saudi Arabian government has already done some research and studies as to what areas suit in terms of setting up solar plants for their country. Then they've also already started their research in terms of where do they see the high wind potential, like where do they see most of the winds and where you can really set up your wind farms and whatnot to generate electricity. So it kind of shows like Saudi Arabia has been putting in all the effort from the government side of things, and the right regulatory bodies having done the homework in terms of moving this economy away from being the oil-based economy to a more green economy, where they can really generate electricity from natural resources and not go for the fossil fuels. What have Saudi Arabia done in terms, what targets have they set for themselves in terms of renewable energy? Now, as I was mentioning, Saudi Arabia until 2018 for the maximum part were generating less than 1% of their electricity from renewable sources. This target, however, they have moved it up. In 2030, they expect to be generating roughly about 30% of their electricity from renewable sources. That's 58.7 gigawatts of electricity that they plan to generate. And that does not stop there. The government has plans to further increase it, where they do the long-term planning, looks at expanding it to such a scale where they could actually be a net energy exporter to the closer region, to the MENA region countries surrounding Saudi Arabia. So it clearly shows that they've got a vision which they really want to move forward and move away from the oil economy and really diversify. For example, more recently, the NEOM that they are developing, the city of NEOM that they are developing, it's going to be 100% be based on sustainable energy. And at the same time, the Red Sea development, I was actually reading an article on Red Sea development that there has been reached a financial close on a 1,000 megawatt battery to be installed on that Red Sea islands that are being developed on the Red Sea close to Jeddah. So it's clearly showing the government's vision in terms of moving towards a greener economy, being more efficient in terms of the resources, how they use it, and not just setting the targets, they have actually taken some action and set up the right regulatory bodies and the support system for investors to look at it and then help them invest in that same sector. The next one, this is one of my favorite slides in the whole presentation, which clearly shows how much effort and homework has been done by the government and the agencies to set up the solar and wind farms across Saudi Arabia. So what the government has already done is they've done the preliminary studies, like in terms of solar, how many hours of daylight different regions receive, what's the ideal location for setting up a solar plant, what's the ideal location for setting up a wind plant. So they clearly are putting in the effort to actually move towards that, and they've actually shortlisted 35 parks where they believe they'll be setting up different solar and wind farms. and they've identified the locations as well. So if any investor is really looking to move on board, they've already reached two solar farms are already in operation in Saudi Arabia, and this clearly shows those were the first phase which reached first financial close. Then they were constructed, and now these 4 solar farms are already operational. That's roughly about 700 megawatts of capacity that these farms are already operational on. Let's just see. Okay, so now we're talking about what all has the government really done and the different sectors really done towards advancing this whole sector for the investors. So they have already done the pre-development studies, and they've done what they've done is they've done the geotechnical studies, energy yield studies, environmental studies, grid connection issues. So I currently am based in Australia, and we have got, I work at NL Green Power, and NL is one of the biggest energy producers in the world. The green energy that we produce is about 46 gigawatts across the globe. So we do face issues on a day-to-day basis in terms of grid connections, and with the new plants, the grid issues, permitting issues, and whatnot. But if you look at Saudi Arabia, what they've done with the different entities that they've set up is they've done all the preliminary studies, the pre-development issues, what investors or the developers of these solar farms or wind farms, the issues that they are likely to face. They've already done all this homework, and what they are doing is they're just looking for investors to come in and look and invest in this sector, which, to be honest, the way the targets that they've set, it's not something that you can just you'll just invest and then you'll benefit, you'll just be like a short-term investor. It's like a long-term investment. So they are really looking for you to commit to this, to Saudi Arabia in the long run, and they are actually committed from their end as well. They are committed to invest from the local government entities as well. If I look at what's happening right now, the different incentives that they are offering the investors in terms of, especially the international investors, to invest in this sector is really that they've moved away the custom duty. So they really are saying there's no custom duty on raw materials and manufacturing and spare parts which are not available in Saudi Arabia. What they have done is the most important one, especially for renewable energy projects, which are really heavy investments in terms of financing and whatnot. They have actually set up the whole SIDF, which is the Saudi Industrial Development Fund, which has been around for a while. They now are really focusing on these large-scale infrastructure developments where they're providing up to 75% of project financing, which really means you could be putting in 25% of equity, and the rest of it could be just debt financing, and you could start up your own project. The land incentives that they have, the leases on those lands, it's as cheap as 26 cents per square meter, which really is showing that it's a highly subsidized land lease that you are getting at. As Dr. Musa was just mentioning, the ownership structure is 100% foreign ownership. So you really don't need to have a local investor or local partner. You could really be an outside entity investing by yourself and wrapping the benefits of that. Ultimately, you're contributing to the economy of Saudi Arabia, but at the same time, you could be an outsider and still be investing in Saudi Arabia without any issues. More importantly, what they are saying is they are not going to be holding back on your capital. If you have got benefits out of that investment, you could move your benefits out of Saudi Arabia as well, which clearly it's Saudi Arabia's way of inviting foreign investors into the sector, especially that the sector is relatively new in Saudi Arabia, and they want the foreign experience of the investors, and they want them to come in and expand the sector further. We really see that this is something that's going to be a focus in the coming, at least in the 5 years from now. I see there's going to be major changes on the sector for Saudi Arabia, and hoping that this actually goes as planned, because as we said, Saudi Arabia sitting right in the center of the MENA region is a hub which can drive the whole region together, and that's where we want to head in terms of Saudi Arabia. And the leaders have got the vision to drive that economy in the right direction with the young youth that they have, it's very much possible. That's all in terms of that's all really in terms of the renewable energy side of things, of how they are supporting the sector and how they are looking to expand on this sector. I mean, there are a lot of nitty-gritties which you do have to go through, but in terms of just giving a brief overview, I believe that's where we see the market going. And if anyone needs to go in deeper details, I'm happy to connect you to the right people and happy to make those introductions.
That's amazing.
If we have any questions, Dr. Musa.
Oh, yes. I think we don't have questions, but I have comments about that. I remember like 15 years before, because I'm based in UAE and you were based in Saudi Arabia, and we are sort of brothers countries and share some common expertise and vision. So I remember that the focus of UAE government, they put in themselves into renewable energy and sustainability. And now in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi, the United Arab Emirates, you can see that we have renewable energies, we have solar parks, we have everything that, and oil has been maybe remain only 20-25% for the production, which if you see the Saudi, as per your presentation and as per my knowledge, is the first thing that can transform a country energy scenario is the planning and the vision. So the way you express it and the vision of Saudi Arabian government and the leadership, I feel this is really an amazing plan. And of course, it is already on implementation. And what I feel over the period of time, whatever my clients and friends, fellows who's invested in Saudi Arabia, they are really happy. They really love the country, they love the people, they love the food, they love the culture, and the revenues, the profitability. I mean, it is amazing. And so this is just
Definitely. So if we look at the population of Saudi Arabia, like 60% of the population is under the age of 30. So it's it's a young population which is growing, and ultimately we see that the economy is going to grow along with this population. There's a lot more population growth that we expect, and there's going to be a lot more need of electricity, renewables, and whatnot, you say it. And then no matter whoever invests in this market right now, they can definitely see the benefits coming out of it. Definitely.
True. And the other is the geographical location of Saudi Arabia. If you see, like, it is connected with 3 continents, and there is a lot of potential to sell electricity to the neighbors if you have a surplus.
So if I was to like dive deep into the whole presentation, the research that I've been doing, it clearly shows that at some point in time, Saudi Arabia will eventually become a net exporter of energy to the neighboring countries of UAE, Qatar, and whatnot. It depends on the needs of those countries, but ultimately, the plan really is to generate energy at such a scale where they can be net exporter of energy, and this energy again is not being generated from fossil fuels. It's just renewable energy at the end of the day. So it's just using the benefits of nature and generating electricity and helping other countries.
Yeah, you're right. And exporting it, of course, is going to contribute to the balance of payment and balance of trade for the Saudi Arabian government, and I think that would be a great vision of. And if you see the like other countries which are a little bit smaller in size, and this country is bigger in size. I mean, if you see like 2 million square kilometer is the area. So, and the population is splitted on different part of the country. So means that the projects, standalone projects, wind, solar, they are required all around the country. And if you are on the borders country, so you can easily export it to Africa or to Middle East. And we know that there are some countries in Middle East, they are still in shortage, like Jordan and say
exactly. The thing with these countries, the other countries that we have across the border are they're at shortage, and unfortunately they do not have the right infrastructure to invest in these type of projects. Whereas Saudi Arabia has put in all the efforts to make sure that there is a right way for the investors to invest in such projects. And ultimately, as you mentioned, and if you look at the map which shows where the 35 parks that they have thought about setting up, they're spread across the country, which means that this will not only generate jobs within those centrally Jeddah, Makkah, or like Jeddah, Riyadh, or Dammam side of things, but this will generate jobs across the country. And with the growing population,
And the
that's what
Red Sea development is really amazing. If you see, that's a hidden treasure.
that hidden treasure, Dr. Musa. I was actually working on that project before I left Saudi Arabia, so I know that project, how they've been setting up, and I was actually reading up articles on recently how, because it's right in the sea, right? So it would be difficult to take electricity, provide electricity to that region. So what they've recently done is they've gone one step up, and they've what we call in the space of energy market is the batteries, the BESS, which really gets set up, and they have set up 1,000 megawatt battery in for that specific project. Now that's the biggest battery in the world in terms of capacity. We do not have 1,000 megawatt battery anywhere in the world. So that clearly shows the government's commitment or the investors' commitment in such projects where they feel that this is the money, these are the projects which we can bank on today, and we'll get the benefits in the coming years.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that the investor across the globe who's listening to you, and later when these videos will go to the right people who are the decision makers, they are going to get a lot of insight from these statistics that you share with the audience. I want to thank you for giving your time, and I'm looking forward to have you in some other shows for more and more interaction.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Musa. Thank you very much.
So with this, now we will move towards the next speaker. Next speaker is also an amazing person. He is a financial guru, and he is more into corporate finance, M&A advisory, and more into financial and business planning side of any venture. So you can see that uh, such an insightful person. Now he is going to discuss with us his experiences and his thoughts on a topic called living its unique position. So, Saad, how are you doing today?
Good evening, Dr.
Can you hear
Musa.
me?
Yes, very well. It's a pleasure to meet you
Welcome
again.
in the show, and I hope it's not so late in Australia right now.
No, it's late, but an investment in Saudi Arabia conference, I have to be there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's so nice of you, and it shows your love for Saudi Arabia.
Definitely.
And so I will not be much obstacle in the way of audience and you. So please, over to you.
All right, thank you. Well, good evening to all the participants and listeners around the world. And thank you to Berkeleyme Investors Club for inviting me to speak at this prestigious event about investment in Saudi Arabia. Now, as Dr. Musa was mentioning in the introduction, I've spent almost 10 years working in the real estate and the property market in Saudi Arabia between 2008 and 2018. So this is probably natural for me to discuss how Saudi Arabia can leverage its unique potential from a real estate or and property perspective. So in my talk today, I'll be looking at three unique aspects of Saudi Arabia. These will be religious, demographic, and geographic factors. So let's take all of these one by one. Now, the importance of Mecca and Medina is, for Muslims all around the world is paramount. And it is a dream of many Muslims, especially high net worth individuals from UK, USA, Australia, and especially in the Malaysian, Indonesia, Far East, that they want to spend or they want to have that association with the holy mosques in their retirement. So when I look at this target market, I feel that this is an industry which is a logical extension to the Hajj and Umrah market, which is growing at an organic pace. But there is a huge market potential that the address of these high net worth individuals can be addressed in terms of retirement living. Now, there's a difference between retirement living and hospice care. When we talk about retirement living, we're talking about able-bodied individuals who still have 15, 20 years of their life, and they just want to live in with modern facilities and infrastructure, and then they want to have access to the holy mosques. So I think this is not a standalone industry. Retirement living is especially, especially in Western countries, it's a big industry. I think that industry is not very well explored in Saudi Arabia at the moment. Now, this is not a standalone business. It has linkages with, healthcare. So when people are coming from abroad and they're living in Saudi Arabia for long term, they might have healthcare needs. Definitely, if they want to travel within the country and they want to travel to the holy mosque, there are positive benefits for the logistics and transportation sector. And when they are living there and they are spending money, definitely the retail sector will benefit as well. So an industry like this, I believe it has the potential for not only bringing the substantial amount of foreign direct investment in the country, but at the same time, it will generate thousands of jobs, which currently Saudi Arabia struggles with. So Saudi Arabia is looking for increasing the employment of Saudi nationals. And I think this is an industry which is very well suited for that purpose. Now, if you look at the enablers for this industry, I believe the Haramain high-speed railway, which is already built and functioning, is the biggest enabler for an industry like this. Now, if you have residents who want to base themselves in a city such as Jeddah and have access to modern lifestyle and infrastructure, and then at the same time using these Haramain high-speed railways, they have easy access to the holy cities. So I feel that with the continued liberalization of the visa policy in Saudi Arabia, the day is not far when we will have foreign nationals who don't want to come to Saudi Arabia for work, when they want to come to Saudi Arabia to spend their retirement and be close to the holy mosques. So I think there is great opportunity for investors that they should be ready to address this demand as and when the visa policy is available. They should have already done some pre-screening of the suitable sites and develop feasibility studies so that whenever there is a go-ahead from the government, they can develop those retirement villages and invite their residents, and while they're offering services to them. And I think this will be a good sector to make a good return on investment as well. Moving on, I'll discuss something about the demographics of Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi demographics present a very unique opportunity. Saudi Arabia not only has a fast-growing population, it is heavily skewed towards youth. The median age, if you look at this statistic around the world, Japan has a median age of 48 years, and the United States has a median age of 38 years. But if you look at the same metric in Saudi Arabia, you're looking at a median age of only 30 years. As Ali Shahid was mentioning before me, that nearly 60% of the Saudis' population is under the age of 35 years. So now youth can be a positive force for development, and when provided with the knowledge and opportunities they need to thrive, I think that can be a big boost to the country's economy. Now, there are unique opportunities when you have a fast-growing population that is so young. You have to house these population. So now gone are the days where people were living in big, large-size villas and very unsustainable sort of development methodologies. Now you have a Saudi population that is influenced by social media, and they're looking for more practical designs in terms of real estate that offer sustainable living. At the same time, it's low maintenance and has a low carbon footprint. Also, I believe that as these technologies for sustainable living and carbon neutrality becomes more prevalent in Saudi Arabia, there's not only opportunity in new projects, but there is a big opportunity in knockdown and rebuild. So as the buildings currently in Saudi Arabia, especially in the commercial and business districts in larger cities, come at the end of their life, when they are redeveloped, they will be developed with sustainable living, low maintenance, and low carbon footprint as the basis of their development. So I think there is a good opportunity in that segment as well. Now, for that large population, you have to feed them. So there is good opportunity in terms of developing foodstuffs, manufacturing plants, and warehousing, because as you know, a lot of food in Saudi Arabia is imported, so from all around the world. So as the population will grow at a fast pace, the population has to be fed properly. So there is a need for proper warehousing in terms of refrigerated warehousing for the goods to come into the country and have the distribution done accordingly. With such large population, you have to educate and train them. Now, we look at the education footprint of the in the country. We look at the international schools. They are only present in large cities, Jeddah, Riyadh, and Dammam and Khubar. I feel that there is a good opportunity for second-tier cities that investors go there and look for opportunities in education and training. And lastly, there is a big drive for new leisure and entertainment facilities in the country as well. Lastly, I want to talk about the geographic advantage of Saudi Arabia. So as you mentioned, Dr. Musa, Saudi Arabia is at the crossroad of 3 continents, which is an unparalleled feature. But I want to especially mention this in the context of Africa. Now, most African countries that are available in the immediate surrounding of Saudi Arabia, despite the challenges with COVID-19, still most of these countries like Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, Kenya will be growing at 6% growth rate this year. Now, in Saudi Arabia, you have a province called Jazan, which has one of the 4 economic cities in Saudi Arabia, and Jazan Economic City is based there. Now, that is only 100 miles or 200 miles away from the Eritrean border. So you can look at, the investors can look at Jazan as a potential place where they want to base their operations in a political stable country like Saudi Arabia and target the market in Africa with much ease. And also you mentioned about SME. The Vision 2030 specifies high growth targets for enterprises to lead the diversification of Saudi economy. And I believe that the Jazan province and the Jazan economic city is an ideal place for these kind of businesses that target African economies. So I will be happy to answer a few questions from listeners and participants.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many points you cover so beautifully in 15 minutes, which is very smart of you, of course. But let's discuss few important things which you have mentioned, and I think it's worth to discuss more in details, especially about the real estate investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia. You mentioned about the religious retirement associations, and of course that a lot of people want when they go. Of course, they need facilities in terms of hotels, in terms of transportation. So, as you mentioned, the train project between Makkah and Medina. So if we specifically look about the future of the real estate investment opportunities, how you feel they are uniquely positioned in Saudi Arabia, which is elsewhere not available.
Well, if you look at the current market, definitely there are some assets that have gone down in performance. If you look at, let's say, the gated residential communities now, because Saudi Arabia is opening up, that gated residential communities are not relevant anymore. So, like any other place in the world, there is a different business cycle within each of the real estate segments. So, Saudi Arabia is passing through the same. Uh, Saudi Arabia lagged behind the world in terms of leisure and entertainment, and now there is big focus about leisure and entertainment. The
So
people
are
are
you
talking
looking
about.
like, for example, in Dubai, we have Dubai Mall, and which is the largest mall in the world. So are you expecting that we will be visiting Saudi Arabia and we will be visiting the largest mall, which has fountains, which has cinemas, and which has the highest brands, all the brands of the world?
Well, there is a potential for doing that, but I mean, it really depends on how Saudi Arabia will be opening up to the world. If Saudi Arabia wants to really compete with Dubai and adopt that model and bring all the world and in one place, definitely you might have those assets coming in. But I feel that that stage is maybe 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah, if you see
Saudi
like
Arabia is opening
Vision
up.
2030 is targeting these things very nicely, like a huge investment in entertainment industry. And entertainment is not only cinema. Like it started from Layer Park. You are talking about projects like Disneyland's. A lot of global brands will come in Saudi Arabia. Some has already came, and Warner Brothers and such kind of then magazines, and
Yeah, the Formula
I can
One and
see that.
yeah.
hmm, I can
So
see that
definitely these
there's a
events will be
lot
better,
of positive activity.
Definitely, you have events in terms of sports. You have these boxing fights, golf events, and especially golf events for women coming up in the country as well. So definitely, Saudi Arabia is opening up, but I think it's opening up at a cautious pace. It's not going all in because with these investments, such as the biggest mall in the world or the tallest tower in the world, these are big investments that require more careful consideration. You just don't
Yeah,
build
true.
them. So you
But
have
of
to
course,
really
but I
match
can
it
see
with the
that
visa policy.
I can see the vision is to be a tourist-centric country, and of course, these are the basic things now to have the tallest tower, the tallest shopping, the biggest shopping malls, and entertainment facilities, and more spot for tourism where people can live, they can enjoy the sea, they can have access to the food. And I think Saudi Arabia is properly placed into, because if you see,
Definitely.
people are very friendly, Islamic culture is very welcoming, and the food is really amazing. And I mean, food in Riyadh is we can't get it anywhere. That is for sure. Like, I mean, it's so pure and original. Of course, this is the hospitality of the country, and I can see that there is a lot of investment opportunities in hotels as well, because as you said that especially the religious tourism, of course, it's expanding. People are coming and coming across after the COVID vaccinations. We are expecting that the activity is going to be enormous. And when suppose you can just go and take arrival visa, so it will be like a lot of tourism will flow in. So you need more hotels. And if you're talking about a football World Cup or some, the Ferrari World sort of projects, I mean, Saudi Arabian local population is very supportive in terms that they are youth, so they are the customer itself, and then there are foreigners who will come in the country. So all looks green and very nice and vibrant, and I'm sure that professionals like you, once you are predicting about the future of Saudi Arabia, so the vision of the leadership support and the plans and the Vision 2030 will be reflecting from your confidence of your future predictions. So let's talk about this project that everyone talks, that there is a train that will go through the GCC. So if you sit from Saudi Arabia, you can have a round of whole GCC. This project also looks very interesting. Like, what are your views on that?
I think definitely it's a good project. It's a large investment, but given that the fossil fuels are so cheaply available, you really have to, educate or impart this understanding in the GCC public that they have to use other alternatives of traveling. Definitely, traveling by rail is more time consuming as well, and so it really comes to
Yeah, now
people's
we are talking
preferences as
about
well.
Hyperloop, this DP World project, which has been very successful, tested, and let's see when it will be implemented. I'm sure that if I sit from Dubai to Riyadh, I can reach in maybe 25 minutes, and it will be a lovely journey. So things looks really promising me, and I can feel that even this COVID scenario, Saudi Arabia is not the affected country in that way as other countries are affecting. So this also shows that this country is quite stable into. Now, my last question for you, with you for the audience is that in terms of your suppose if some investor want to come in Saudi Arabia and want to do a retail investment, real estate investment project, so what kind of risk and returns that we need to keep in mind, and what could be the profitabilities that we can gear up for them?
I think it really comes to the offering that the investor is looking at in terms of retail. If you're looking at very high-end retail, definitely, Saudi Arabia is the right market. People want to buy these big brands, and malls like Localizer Mall in Riyadh, they do particularly well in terms of that high-end placement. So, these malls can come up with, 13 to 15% return on average, which is a very good rate. And if you are leveraging it with some level of debt, you can even reach 20% return.
Oh, that's amazing. I think these are super returns and higher than investing in a hedge fund or a mutual fund when you are
Definitely.
owning a real asset, which is actually the most of the people who are a little bit conservative in their investment strategies. They want to own the real physical asset in their eyes. And
Hmm.
so I can see that the real estate investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia will grow over the time, and things will be really promising for the investors. And with
Definitely.
this, I want to thank you, Saad, to join us live from Australia and share your thoughts. And
Thank you very
I
much.
am looking forward to have you more in our discussions.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to share some of my thoughts, and I highly appreciate this initiative by Berkeley Middle East.
Thank you very much. So we will now move to the next speaker. Next speaker is really amazing and informative. I mean, sitting in Australia, sitting in America, sitting in UK, Europe, anywhere outside, you are sitting outside Saudi Arabia. Yeah, our next speaker is going to enlighten you that how can you make a company, how can you own a business without involving any equity partner in Saudi Arabia, means owning 100% of your business. How you can do it, what are the requirements, what are the sectors, how Saudi Arabia is open for you. So let me introduce you to our very nice friend, Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, Musa. How's everything with you?
Oh, all is good, all is good. And we are really excited to hear from you that Saudi Arabia, if an investor is planning to go, so what are the ways? So over to you now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll give you a bit of a background first on Astrolab. So we were formed in 2013 by the founders, the same founders of Namshi. Those of you that don't know Namshi, it's basically the kind of the ASOS of the UK, big retail e-commerce company. And they created this company to be basically a capability building company to help similar entrepreneurs succeed in the Middle East. So we have a few arms of the business, whether that's our academy side when it comes to training and upskilling staff, helping companies, as I said, kind of train and help, particularly in that digital space. And then we've got co-working space and our Enter KSA side, which is what I look after. So on that note, I'll take you through a presentation that I've put together. So here we're going to look into just why, who, and how companies are expanding into Saudi Arabia. So we'll go for a bit of an overview of Saudi Arabia and look into some stats and figures as to what's happened over the last few years. We'll look into particularly into a few sectors and some clients that we've helped expand into Saudi Arabia. And then we're going to look at a 16-step process on how you can set up your company into Saudi Arabia, which hopefully will help some of you when thinking about this option. So here's an overview into Saudi Arabia. So a lot of you might know that from 2016, the restrictions for foreign investment were removed. Obviously, there were always going to be some kind of requirements, whether that's a capital requirement or ministry approvals. And that's ever changing year to year because this is a new license that is available. The license was originally the SAGIA license. And this is now recently changed to MISA. So if you hear me talking about through this presentation about MISA, that stands for the Ministry of Investment of Saudi Arabia, which is the ministry which is giving you this license, which allows 100% foreign ownership. Now, a lot of people still aren't even aware around the world that you're allowed 100% foreign ownership. Obviously, in the past, all of these big companies that you see kind of in Saudi Arabia will have some kind of local sponsorship who will actually own that business. Depending on the sector that you're looking at, you also have different minimum capital requirements. For many of the sectors, you'll actually have a zero minimum capital investment, which again is huge and something which many people aren't aware of. With this MISA license, you essentially have 9 different licenses which you're able to get. So this varies from an industrial license, which is essentially your manufacturing, to a service license, which is actually the majority of our clients. There is a trading license available, which is actually I guess the license which we get the most interest in. However, the minimum capital requirements for a trading license are very, very high. You need a 30 million Saudi Riyal capital investment, 3 branches across the world, and a 300 million capital investment over 5 years. So as I said, the majority of clients that we work with are normally offering a service or doing some kind of manufacturing. Now, these figures here are really exciting, and the other guys have already spoken a lot about why Saudi is growing the way it is with its big 2030 vision, with the 34 million population, the young population, the huge GDP that they have in Saudi Arabia. And these figures kind of back that up as to why people are looking to invest in Saudi Arabia. So you can see this is a year-on-year growth. So 46% in 2016, 2017, and then a further 95% in 2017, 2018, and then a 54% increase in 2018, 2019. And you've got to bear in mind as well here, like in the Middle East, we have been on a slight downtrend, I guess, particularly in the UAE, in that kind of that 2018, 2019. But they're still seeing that growth and investment in Saudi Arabia. These are some of the sectors which we as Astrolabs have seen a lot of growth in, and that's particularly that technology, digital, leisure, tourism, manufacturing. And the other guys have already explained about these other projects that are going on, all of which are encouraging companies to move into Saudi Arabia, which is super exciting. I guess the main reasons what we're seeing as a company of why they're expanding into Saudi Arabia, you've got either companies that are looking for a new opportunity and a new market, and weren't even aware before of this 100% foreign ownership. So are now super excited to explore this massive market and the biggest market in the Middle East. Maybe they're already doing business in Saudi Arabia, but to be able to win those extra contracts, to win all those clients, and to actually perform their business efficiently, they actually now to build a presence in Saudi Arabia. And on that fact as well, that you've got companies which are looking to win government contracts and win these big clients. These Saudi Arabian governments and companies now are actually telling companies that they have to be set up in Saudi Arabia to even win or bid for a contract. Again, driving that investment into Saudi Arabia and getting these institutions and big companies to start setting up in Saudi Arabia. And then the final one, I guess, is the companies that already have a partner in Saudi Arabia but are looking to break away from that local partner and actually set up under 100% foreign ownership. A lot of these guys have obviously set up these companies around the world and want to keep that ownership 100% with the shareholders. So just briefly, so a lot of you who are looking at this may have already done your research. So a lot of you will talk about SAGIA, which is the Saudi Arabian General Investment Authority. This is now actually MISA, which I said earlier, which is the Ministry of Investment of Saudi Arabia. So MISA is now the license which you should be aware of, which allows 100% foreign ownership. So I thought I'd just take you through here just a few of the sectors, I guess, that we've seen as such a big push for. The tech sector, I think, is about 55% of our clients that we've helped expand into the region. And you can see here a couple of the notable tech investments. You've got the 8.6 million for the Noon Academy, $6.6 million for Nana Direct, and 2 million in Unit X. All of this, again, driving that investment into these new and exciting companies and sectors, hoping to obviously then bring employment into the region and drive growth and revenue in Saudi Arabia. The media industry is probably our second or third biggest sector that we've seen a drive in. And the numbers speak for themselves here. When you see the amount of internet users and the amount of YouTube users, we've already mentioned earlier about the 60% under 30, again, driving that digital age, which again, and with the event industry as well now being open up for expats and for people to come visit. Again, all part of this 2030 vision. This is super exciting. And again, a lot of our clients, whether they're event organizers or event safety, we're getting a lot of interest of these companies now setting up in Saudi Arabia. So to date, we've set up, helped over 100 clients today setting up in Saudi Arabia and Middle East. These are just a few of our clients that we've had, a bit of a mix there of kind of technology and media, but to be honest, we've set up companies of all sorts, whether it's like a catering company for the Hajj, and then whether it's as I said earlier, manufacturing of goods, or doing some data analysis, or creating an e-commerce platform. The activities that you're able to set up with 100% foreign ownership is essentially endless when it comes to that service sector. Or manufacturing sector. So this finally is what we have as a 16-step process that we've put together at Astro Labs over the last couple of years. Again, this will change over and over again throughout the years, but this is what it is at the moment. As I said, we have the longest serving partnership with MISA. So whenever they have new breaking news about being able to register in Saudi Arabia, we're always at the forefront of that news. So we start off by getting you that MISA license. That's the thing that allows you to have that foreign ownership, and then that leads into drafting the articles of association, which our team on the ground in Saudi Arabia do all of this for our clients. Again, it's a very, very long process. It takes approximately 3 to 4 months for the whole setup. this first section, stage 1, it can take up to probably 3 to 4 weeks. And again, unless you have those people on the ground in Saudi Arabia who have those connections and are able to go visit these ministries, it's very, very difficult to do, which is why I'll always encourage anyone to do their research and to always have some kind of help on the ground when they're looking to do this. So once you've got your commercial registration, Chamber of Commerce, you're then looking at stage 2, which is essentially registering you for all of the different ministries that you need to be a part of. So whether that's your national address or getting your GOSI or your Ministry of Labour, you need someone who knows what they're doing to register you for all of these different ministries. And then the stage 3 is the general manager part. So we need to get you your general manager's visa. You can have a general manager there. He can even have a dual residency. So again, if you've got a general manager here in the UAE and you want to set him up as a general manager in Saudi, then that's absolutely fine, and they have no restrictions on that. You just need to make sure there is a GM, and they have to have an Iqama. They'll have to be registered with the Makin portal. And then we finally do the bank account opening process as well for all of our clients, which again, anyone who's tried to set up bank accounts in the Middle East or in the UAE, it's a very difficult process. Again, you need those connections and those people on the ground to be able to do that effectively. So that's our 16 steps. If you do have obviously any further questions about anything to do with setting up in Saudi, you can always contact me on my email address or go to our website. We've got our setupinssaudi.com website, which again, it will just talk you through those 16 processes in a lot of detail. So yeah, that's our setup process. Oh, Musa, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah, that's better. Perfect.
Oh, that's it. So, Alex, I think you made the life so easy. I mean, it's so comprehensive in presentation. What I understood is that if any country wants to grow, so they have to bring something called ease of business. Like, suppose if I want to make a company in the United Arab Emirates, I think I need like maybe not more than a day or two. And if I need an office, I need electricity connection. If I need to issue visas, it's all one window operations. And this makes investor life really easy. So I can see that Saudi Arabia is, through you, of course, as our partner, is very easy. Like they can sit anywhere, they can talk to us, and we can bridge them with any nice partner if they are looking for a Saudi partner, or if their business model asks them to have 100% freehold. We can also bridge them. It depends. And I think now people start knowing that made in Saudi Arabia products are really prestigious and quality oriented. People trust these quality standards of Saudi Arabian authorities. So if you manufacture in Saudi Arabia, your client is all the Middle East and Africa. And you can save a lot of cost in terms of logistics and other things. Like, for example, if I am an American investor, I produce things in California, then I ship it to, say, each country. It's better if I produce in Saudi Arabia and I can cover the Africa and Middle East region, because all my goods by road can be transported. I can save a lot of tax, and I can have a better control, and there is no issue in terms of quality management as well. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that's what's the main driver into getting these companies into Saudi Arabia. One thing I should have probably mentioned as well in that presentation would have been that the kind of the requirements, I guess, you need, as you said, that Saudi Arabia, they are trying to drive good quality businesses into the region, not just anyone just setting up a company. So some requirements are the fact of you do need a company outside of Saudi Arabia to be able to expand into Saudi Arabia. and you have to be at least a year old to be able to produce some financial audited statement. Again, it just helps back up the fact that you're going to be bringing positivity to the kingdom, bringing in that revenue, bringing in jobs. Is something that they're really trying to push into the kingdom, which is great.
Which is great, actually. And we should not also forget the SME sector, the small, medium enterprise sector, because
Exactly.
there are a lot of, not every business is a big business. There are SMEs. These SMEs are really required in Saudi Arabia. You're talking about a restaurant which will generate an employment for 20 people, and you're talking about a hairdressing and others, all skilled saloons and entertainment and youth related stuff. And Saudi Arabia is open to all kind of sectors. Either they are SMEs or they are the huge, large size projects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say actually the majority of our clients are these SMEs. And that, as you can see from the UAE, the majority of the business now is actually SMEs, and they're the ones that are driving the economy now in the UAE. So I think Saudi Arabia is looking obviously to replicate that, and looks promising.
That's it, Alex.
I'm excited.
Oh, that's amazing. I think with your straight British approach, and your the way you present information, people might have got a very deep insight. And as you already told that if they want more assistance on it, they should contact us so we can help them to enter in Saudi Arabia. And with this, I would like to thank you for your time and your valuable insights.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it and everything you guys do. And we'll obviously work together more going forwards. And thanks for everything.
Thank you very much. So now we will move to our new speaker, and she's an amazing lady. She has been in UCL, which is University College London, and a very dynamic, and you can say, when I spoke to her, and I found her really visionary and very sparkling and vibrant in terms of her thoughts. And she's going to talk about healthcare landscape in Saudi Arabia. And we know this COVID-19, the spread of infectious diseases. And so she would like to talk about the telehealth, infectious diseases, and welcome wellnessness. So Aliza, yes, how are you doing today? Oh, I think I cannot hear you. So can you check your mic, please?
Hear me now?
Oh, that's great. So I wish you a good day today, and Mike is with you. Please go ahead and share your thoughts.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Musa. It's a pleasure to be part of this investment conference. So as introduced the topic quite broadly, I'm going to be speaking on telehealth, about infectious disease and wellness in terms of the Saudi Arabian healthcare landscape. I'll touch on 4 broad subtopics and then extend some detail for people who are specifically interested in investing in these areas. I think I'm going to start by talking about the recent position in relation to foreign investment. Then I'll move on to the opening of doors to foreign investment, talk about telemedicine next, and finally wrap up with the kingdom's commitment to foreign investment. I'm going to skip my introduction because that's widely available on your platforms. And let's rewind back to April 2016, which was a blaze of publicity vision for 2030, and it was announced to the world. It promised to transform the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and reduce its reliance on oil income for economic growth by channeling energies into other revenue streams. So certain sectors, industries were identified as having the potential for growth, with one area being the healthcare sector. So the goal here was to improve the quality of healthcare services and to promote competition amongst healthcare providers with a move towards the private sector as opposed to the burden falling on the public sector. And ultimately, the public purse. So it was recognized that it was necessary to create an environment that will attract both local and foreign investments by making it more attractive for the right investors in the right space and to invest with their expertise, with their capabilities, their energy and finances in the kingdom. So Vision 2030 also recognizes the need to embrace healthcare information technology, which is, the budding word of the minute, as digital innovations are vital for sharing knowledge among healthcare professionals, as well as improving the performance and the productivity of healthcare providers. Eventually, all medical records will be electronic based. Saudi Arabia is moving slowly, and I would say about 50% of the electronic records are proving to come up with 2030 vision. And with the objective of linking up the Ministry of Health with healthcare providers in order to share the patient information on one systematic database. We're seeing a lot of interest in health information technology from foreign and local companies, especially in the cloud-based diagnostic software, as they're keen to offer their services through an appointed Saudi distributor to healthcare providers and professionals. And this, links in very beautifully with the second aspect of my talk, which is the recent position the kingdom maintains in relation to foreign investment. I think it's quite obvious that until recently, there were limited options for foreign investment in the healthcare sector, as foreigners could only own, operate, and invest in large hospitals, and they were unable to invest in other healthcare institutions such as clinics, polyclinics, laboratories, as well as healthcare support service centers, be it physiotherapy, nutrition, or optical centers. Furthermore, pharmaceuticals and medical devices not manufactured in KSA could only be distributed and sold in the kingdom through one specific appointed and registered Saudi-owned distributor. So the opportunities for foreign investment were slim, even though the manufacture of pharmaceuticals and medical devices have been actively encouraged, and the ownership of hospitals has become an option for investors since 2015 now. So many manufacturers still choose to distribute their products through distributors. And to date, the uptake by foreign countries and to own and operate hospitals has been slight, as the Saudi Arabian General Investment Authority, the SAGIA as I call it, was only accepting applications for licenses for larger scale hospitals until earlier this year. So I believe there is no plan to allow foreign companies to directly sell and distribute pharmaceuticals and medical devices in the kingdom, and this will remain the preserve of Saudi-owned entities and individuals for various reasons. And now moving on to how we could potentially open the doors to foreign investment and, attracting both European companies as well as Australian companies who have expressed interest in launching their operations here. In roughly March 2019, last day, it was announced that foreign companies could own and manage private healthcare institutions and support healthcare services centers in KSA, with the exception of clinics and pharmacies. So I'm specifically referring to Article 2 of the Private Health Institutions Law and Executive Regulations, which is under the Royal Decree. And this was amended to reflect the change, but it is not yet in force, even though it has been approved. However, both the Ministry of Health and the Saudi Investment Authority have implemented the change, and they're accepting applications continuously for operating license and for investment licenses. Both authorities have been quite cooperative and encouraging of foreign investment. And the Ministry of Health, my own mother who's a doctor tells me, has published a healthcare investor licensing group, which documents all the recent changes to foreign investment in the kingdom's healthcare industry. And it explains in very, very simple terms how the license application process works. So in a nutshell, all healthcare institutions and support healthcare service centers must have a Saudi managing director, and with the exception of hospitals and support healthcare service centers, all healthcare institutions must be supervised by a Saudi physician. Hospitals must have a qualified Saudi medical doctor rather than to be supervised by a Saudi physician. The operating license application process has been improved significantly and is now carried out online. From our experience, the process is relatively straightforward and efficient. The Saudi Investment Authority has no minimum capitalization requirements for healthcare investment, which is welcome news. It's brilliant because initially there used to be a quota. And as previous investment opportunities open to foreign investors required a substantial minimum investment. So I would recommend that all investment vehicles have that minimum capitalization of at least 500,000 Saudi Arabian riyals, as this is the usual minimum requirement expected by the Saudi Investment Authority. And this demonstrates a firm commitment by the foreign investor to commit to investment in that country. Both the Investment Authority in Saudi Arabia and the Ministry of Health have reported a lot of interest in both areas from potential foreign investors, as well as the obligation of local investors to improve their services and their level of commitment. And they're proving to be very willing to assist potential investors. We are currently assisting a number of clients in exploring available options and establishing healthcare institutions and supporting healthcare services centers within the kingdom. I think the move is slow, that some large healthcare providers are watching the Saudi market very closely. And we know, and in our experience, that at least one market leader that is keen to enter the Saudi marketplace, specifically the Genova company. And this brings us to telemedicine, which is the big word out there and is the best potential revenue source for healthcare investors. The Ministry of Health has started offering this license for telemedication and telehealth centers. In conjunction with this, the telemedicine regulations were, after much anticipation, finally published in June of this year amidst the pandemic. And these discussions around these regulations could be more in detail with the healthcare law update, which is available online. But coming back to telemedicine centers, you need to have a Saudi managing director, and it has to be supervised by a suitably qualified medical professional with no nationality specified in this case. And telemedicine centers allow for the collaboration between medical institutions, both inside and outside Saudi Arabia, to share this knowledge and this experience in order to make more accurate diagnosis. And then telemedicine, slowly linked to infectious disease, has expertise outside the kingdom, which will benefit patients and will slowly but surely enable Saudi-based medical practitioners to develop expertise in their chosen field. So I'm assuming, through collaborations and medical institutions in other countries, a number of hospitals within the kingdom already provide a telemedicine facility as an additional service to its patients. This is a growing trend, and we expect to see more examples of this in the future. Healthcare insurance providers, for example, provide for reimbursement of telemedicine fees, which makes investment in this area even more attractive. Telemedicine and teleconsulting is ripe for investment, really, and it will only be a matter of time before foreign investors start recognizing this opportunity. And finally, moving on to the last bit, which is how is the kingdom expecting its commitment to foreign investment in the future? So I think with the opening up of foreign investment into healthcare institutions and supporting healthcare service centers this year, it demonstrates the kingdom's seriousness in improving the private healthcare market to benefit citizens. It is actively seeking foreign investment and is welcoming the right investors with open arms. It's paving the way for easy incorporation without administrative delays and complications. We are confident that the healthcare market will change beyond recognition over the next few years with hopefully higher quality and this high healthcare quality service being available through all traditional mediums and digital platforms. I anticipate that once a change to foreign investment opportunities is widely known, we will see a number of foreign-owned healthcare services providers and even joint ventures with Saudi local partners entering the marketplace throughout the kingdom, providing for a very healthy competition. So while there might be a fragmented market, you have that healthy competition and a heightened service level as an anticipated vision of the 2030 goals that they had. The changes have taken everyone by surprise. And, the UK itself is quite interested. And though longed for what were not anticipated in confidence, and, they've helped change the healthcare landscape. So now the opportunities are endless for the investor with vision, with drive and ambition.
Oh, that's great. I think you have given a lot of insight and in a very squeezed and comprehensive way. Actually, we were working last week. I was sitting with a very qualified robotic surgeon in Britain, and what they're doing is, suppose you are sitting in, say, Saudi Arabia, in UAE, anywhere in the world. So they, with the robotic technology sitting in UK, they are doing surgeries, and this is really a great initiative that we can say. And in terms of minimum invasive surgery, means it's a keyhole surgery where you are just putting a keyhole, putting the camera inside the body, and operating from New York. Patient is somewhere inside Dubai.
Yeah.
So this is a great revolutionary innovation, and it is the future of the world actually, because we don't need to travel to United States anymore. We can invest in Saudi Arabia, we can make the setup, and we can keep these high-end doctors across the globe on our panel, and they are available for our tele physicians or surgeons. Both can operate in the same way. And you are right that, and luckily in this show, we are going to have some speakers who have already invested in healthcare in Saudi Arabia, like Saudi German Hospital. After in this show, we are going to take them and share their thoughts and experiences in Saudi Arabia. So with this telehealth and infection diseases, it's a comprehensive discussion, of course, and there's a lot of things to learn. But because you are a very dynamic professional, and somehow you are connected with Saudi Arabia as well. So I just want to take a feel and look for the external audience who are listening to you, that what are the opportunities for women, you as living in Saudi Arabia, you studied in UK, you're still there. So tell me, like, some positive vibes which we can give it to the rest of the world.
Sure. I think lots of potential here in Saudi Arabia now, which has become increasingly welcoming of the female population participating in all kinds of professional tasks, really. So, whether it's the primary industry, secondary, tertiary, and, healthcare is increasingly being recognized part of the service industry. And you can see every kind of specialist is a female, and they're leading a number of clinics and surgeries across the kingdom, both for the royal family specifically and for the general public. I think if you're looking to build a career in Saudi Arabia, you do need to be mindful of the requirements here, which are quite strict, as for any country really, because the medical profession is one that's quite important, and there's a lot at stake. But besides those, I think you have plenty of opportunities to work for both the government as well as the private hospitals. If you're looking into building a future long-term or the short-term, you can, look into factors like the demographic profile. You can look into the government initiatives and policies. There are specifically recruitment schemes for clinicians and pediatricians. Also look at the tech that's being developed and to what extent, your own job, your own specialty is going to change over time. I mentioned some of the healthcare companies that will be investing in the Middle East, for example, Digenova and Hala Health, and they're looking at enabling digital solutions, which is, a place where you could get involved. It doesn't have to be someone who's widely experienced. There are an increasing number of starting level positions. And, there's a global trend clearly of female involvement as well as success rates in surgeries. Lots of research by the Lancet. And I think, it's key to challenging the healthcare system and reviving the way that we can actually implement those solutions.
That's amazing. I think I wish you, it's a very insightful, and I'm really thankful for you to join this show. And I'm hopeful that in the upcoming events, we will keep you on the board and you will share your insights. So with this, now we have to move towards our next speaker, and this speaker is really amazing. He is going to discuss about the investment opportunities in education sector in Saudi Arabia. Now, as we know that the Saudi population is more concentrated in youth, and youth is the one who is really passionate about education, and especially the American education or the British education, which are two benchmark standards in the world. So it will be a great insight to listen to the gentleman. Let me introduce him to you, Dr. Tamer Mitwali. He is with us, and he is heading the Berkeley School of Business. And he's also a top-notch consultant and a business guru. So, Doctor, thank you very much for joining this show.
Good evening. How are you, Dr. Musa? It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you? How's the weather in Dubai?
Dubai is actually fantastic. This is actually the best time. Actually was outside. The weather's beautiful. It's about 25, 27 degrees. It could not be better. This is the perfect time to be in Dubai. Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. And because you were in Australia and now in Dubai, so you can compare the both countries and feel the benefits and fun. So, Dr. Tamer, it's your turn. Mike is with you, and now your call.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce this amazing education system that we actually have with Berkeleyme School of Management. Being the dean is an honor, and what I'll have to say is that we are talking about investments, and nothing better than investing in yourself. That is probably the best and most important thing, especially in the time that we're in right now. COVID-19 has changed the world, as we all know, has changed majority of the industries around the world. And every single employer, every single organization is seeking a superstar employer. How could that employee can help that employer or that organization? And there's nothing for you to invest in yourself. This is the crucial time to enhance your skills and to obtain the knowledge where you can take that skills and implement it at the workplace. And that will give you a lot of opportunities to excel in your current position, or maybe a possibility to create an opportunity to look for a better position where you're at the moment. So this is where I'm coming from that perspective. We have amazing courses that I would like to go through. I would like just to share my screen, if you don't mind. I'm going to just share my screen. I've got a website I would like to share. This is, I'm just hoping that I'll be able to share this at the moment. Are you able to see my screen at the moment? You should be able to, the website. So this is actually the website, which is berkeleyme.org. This is the website. Now, I have to say, we have absolutely amazing courses here at the moment. The two things that I would like to commence with is the CCFO course, which is a certified financial, you got your certified chief financial officer. This is actually an amazing course if you're in the financial sector, or if you're a CFO currently, or you're a financial manager, whatever it may be in that financial sector itself. We actually have this certified course that specializes on certain modules, such as innovation on entrepreneurship. Now, innovation in a CFO or in financials is a crucial sector. I'm actually one of the advocates in fintech. As we all know, fintech is a huge technology and innovation that it's growing in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, in all around the world, but especially in GCC. Okay, now fintech and innovation, that is hand in hand. So we go through innovation and entrepreneurship. We go through business, environmental, and concepts. We go through the CFO auditing, a lot of auditing structure. We go through accounting and reporting, regulations and tax planning, digital CFO. So we go through a lot of hands-on knowledge where you can take that and implement at the workplace. Now, this is not just for you to get a certificate, or it's not just for you to say, I'm a certified CEO, which is a bonus, but it's the knowledge that you gain, and the skills that you obtain to take that to the workplace and to implement that and show really to your organization, show to your superior, show to the board of directors, hey, I'm a real asset here. I've got something that you really, that this will be very important for this organization. I have increased the proficiency. I have increased the revenue. I have increased the profit of the organization. And that is because of me. I am an asset to your organization. And because I'm an asset, I've obtained this knowledge and I've implemented it at your organization. Now, that is an amazing course if you're into that financial sector. Now, I want to point out a couple of things as what I consider as bonuses, because the main thing for you as an employee, okay, is that you gaining that experience and that knowledge from highly experienced, obviously, lecturers who have extensive experience in those fields, who are providing real case studies and the knowledge that you're gaining. So you actually getting that skills and the knowledge, you actually will take that into your organization. But as a bonus, you have 2 certificates. One, you get a certificate from Berkeleyme School of Management and Sciences. In addition to that, you also get a diploma, okay, a diploma from either Otham or Qualify, which are very well-regulated UK organizations. These, you get another certificate from that, so you get 2 certificates. In addition to that, you also get 120 credit hours. Now, you'll say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you want to excel, if you want to do a master in accounting and finance, that is a bonus for you. You automatically obtain 120 credit hours, okay? And therefore reduces the master timing, okay? And all you got to do is actually a thesis, okay? Which takes approximately about, anything between 9 months to a year. So you can see there's a lot of bonuses that you get part of this qualification. One, you get a certificate as a certified CFO from Berkeleyme School of Management. 2, you get a diploma in accounting and finance from where? It's certified from either Otham or Qualify, a UK regulated body, okay, that you obtain with that 120 hours credit if you want to do an additional education, then a track, or automatically after you finishing the course, doing a master's in accounting and finance. Now, if you want to do a master's, you have 2 top universities in the UK that we offer our masters. University of Chichester, which is a very well-recognized university, and University of Northampton, okay, which is another well-recognized university. Now, that is a great, for me as an employee, if I want to enhance my skills and getting, 2 qualification and giving also the opportunity to excel and do my masters, this is ideal. In addition to that, there's another very popular course, and we have been doing a number of them here for Berkeleyme School of Management, is the CCEO, which is a Certified Chief Executive Officer, okay, CCEO. This is a very popular course, okay, and especially if you're in a management, if you're a senior management and you want to excel, this is the course for you to conduct. Ladies and gentlemen, let me recap on this. Now, this is one of the courses I take this personally because I'm first of all a certified CEO. Okay. In addition to that, I have 25 years of management experience with international organization. Now, some of the courses that you actually do, or the modules that you do, is CEO present and future outlook. You need to have a very strong vision, okay, as a CEO. You are the leader of the organization, okay? So you need to make sure that we're going to give you the skill how to be a good leader and how to have that skill to have a very spot on vision where you can lead the organization to. Okay, we do a lot of modules that deals with strategic management. You will be, you'll be making decisions. So decisions needs to be based on a strategy. Now, how are you going to analyze that? We give you that skills. We teach you that. Okay, so this is an amazing course. Okay, that gives you the package for you to be a real good leader in senior management. Again, you do get the bonuses. I mean, I always refer back that the main thing that you get is the skills that you take on board, that you invest in yourself and you implement at the workplace. You are the asset. Okay, that's number one. Okay, the bonuses is that you still get the certified CEO qualification. So you get the certified CEO professional from Berkeleyme School of Management. And 2, the second certificate is that you get a diploma in strategic management and leadership, again, being certified either by Otham or Qualify, okay, which is a UK regulated body. Now, in addition to that, is that if you also get 120 credit hours, which if you want to do a master's, okay, in example, an MBA, you can do that So you'll say, okay, I want to, I've completed my certified CEO. I want to do my master. I want to do my MBA. You get automatically 120 hours credit, and you can do that at the University of Manchester. Okay. Again, approximately will take between 6 to 12 months for you to complete. Again, great courses. You get great bonuses. You get great support, and we are here for you. Now, for you to get some more knowledge and to expand on that, just please visit the berkeleyme.org. You'll see this on the website. At the bottom of the page, you'll see an inquiry form. This is where you fill your information. We can give you more information if you have an inquiry, if you have a question, but we can tell you when's the next course is available, etc., etc. Okay, so we can support you in that sense. In addition to that, and again, it doesn't stop here. I mean, this is a very exciting because we have so many amazing courses. We have a certified HR management, another very well recognized course that is very popular for the HR industry. If you in the HR industry itself and you want to be certified as a HR individual, professional, this is the course. Again, you have a number of bonuses, again, same as the CCFO and the CCEO courses that you get. Obviously the main skills, okay? In addition to that, you get 2 certificates, and then you also get the opportunity for you to do your masters as well, okay? And we have many other courses. Certified marketing professional. If you're in the marketing sector, we have. I know that in Saudi Arabia, they're very strong in HR and marketing. We do marketing as well, okay? We also have certified project management. Again, very strong industry in Saudi Arabia. If you're into project management in the real estate and construction, in engineering, whatever it may be, we give you that knowledge, okay? And in addition to that, you get 2 certificates and opportunity for you to excel to do your masters, okay? And you can see there's so many courses here, certified logistics and supply chain professional, certified management and accounting, okay, Chartered Institute of Management and Accountants. So you can see there's so many courses. Whatever you prefer to do, or whatever industry that you're in, we have the course for you. I can assure you that. Berkeleyme, School of Management has not left no industry. Okay, we have targeted, I would say 99% of the industries around the world. Whatever you prefer, we have these courses. And again, the competitive advantage, and I want to underline and emphasize this, the competitive advantage that Berkeleyme School of Management has in comparison to its competitors is a couple of things. One, you do our courses, okay, with very highly experienced lecturers, individuals that have a very heavy practical experience and also qualification, either being a DBA or MBA or PhD. So they got academic, but I always consider having the practical experience is even more important than the academic. Why? Because when you're teaching, especially being a certified CEO or you're teaching certified CFO courses, it's all about practical. It's all about practical. What I have learned in my past 10, 15, 20 years, okay, and seeing the change that has happened and giving this wealth of knowledge to my participants, that is what I call an asset. And giving that to yourself and having that for you, investing this to yourself, is what I call the real essence, okay? So this is what I would like to emphasize. So again, as I want to emphasize, our competitive advantage for this industry in comparison to its competitors is that we have very experienced lecturers with very heavy practical experience and also very heavy academic qualifications. In addition to that is that you have, the opportunity to excel. So you get 2 certificates. Which organization gives you 2 separate certificates? We give you 2 certificates, and these are recognized certificates. So you get 2 certificates, and you get a bonus, okay, of 120 hours for you to do your masters down a track. Now, what we also have as a competitive advantage, it doesn't stop there. So you say you came to us and you want to do the CCEO, okay, Certified Chief Executive Officer qualification. You've done that, okay, you've completed that. Then you decided that you want to do your master's. Okay, great. We support you. You've done your master's, you've completed your master's. Now, what happens then? It does not stop in that. We actually also provide qualification from a doctorate, is either being a PhD or a DBA. Okay, so you can see that we are here all the way through. Okay, so you can see the form here on our website that we provide further qualification. If you want to excel and you want to do your doctorates, we offer that as well. Okay, now I would like to extend on that with a doctorate program because again, being a doctor and having the experience of being a doctor and doing the thesis, you do get that extensive experience and you become also well recognized in your association or your organization. Okay, so again, it's an investment that you're investing in yourself. So we have Doctor of Philosophy, which is PhD. We could also offer international PhD. We have PhD through extended professional experience. So depending on how many years of experience that you've done, we can also provide that to you as well. We also offer DBA, which is Doctor of Business Administration. Okay, now we show you, it's a very simple process. But the main thing is that obviously there's certain criteria that you have to have. So we need you to feel, if you are interested, okay, in this program, that you could have done a master's, for example, before, and you want to look into completing a doctorate, that's fine. That's fine. There's no issue. You don't have to do your certified CEO at the start. You don't have to, do a master's with us. If you've completed a master's and you have certain years of practical experience, fill the form. Okay, we require your CV, require a couple of references, and we're going to be conducting a short interview with yourself, and then it's from there. Okay, so it's not a difficult process, but the main thing is that you need to think that you need to invest in yourself, especially in this time now. This is the time that you need to consider how I'm going to be better than my peers who might be applying for the same job, or how could I impress my superiors and show them that I am really an asset, that if they're going to downsize down in the future, they will not consider me at all for one of these employees to retrench. No, I'm actually one of the priorities. And this is the way you should be thinking from now on. You should be always thinking that if there is another pandemic or there's another a major change in the organization, how will I prove to the organization that I am a crucial key factor for the success of that organization? That's the thinking that you need to think about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any inquiries or any questions, again, we have we ensure that we have a great website. The website has an enormous amount of information. We have great support on the website. All you got to do is you fill the documentation, you fill the inquiry form, and we'll get to you, within 2 to 3 days maximum. Okay, so our turnaround is usually within 24 hours, but I always put 2 to 3 days maximum. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited. I'm excited also for you, to meet you. If you want to do any of these courses, you can see there's many courses here, courses to cater any industry. Dr. Musa, thank you very much. I hope that I have covered majority of the items here. Thank you.
Dr. Tamer, thank you very much for such insightful information. And within your 15 minutes, I decided that I should get this certified CEO certification for myself also. It looks really interesting. And I'm really amazed to hear that 5,000 students in Saudi Arabia, Berkeley, Middle East has already taught. You certified them for CEO, CFOs, and the professional qualifications like CPA, CMA, CIA. So it's a great contribution to Saudi Arabia by this American company, Berkeleyme Middle East. And I want to thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to see you in any other next shows.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Musa. I mean, I have to say that Saudi Arabia is one of our big market, and we have great students, and we're hoping to expand that, triple that by 2021. That's our mission, So yes.
That's an amazing message. Thank you very much. And now we will move towards our next speaker. Our next speaker is really a dynamic lady. She is a chartered accountant from England and Wales and has been in industry for last couple of years. Her expertise is more into business and finance. She is the one who can optimize your business resources in terms of financial viability. She is good in business impact analysis. She is good in business continuity. She is good to create and handle the leverage, your liquidity, your solvency. And she is, in nutshell, is a financial lady who can turn around the strategy for the business. So I'm pleased to introduce you with Asma Jan Muhammad. Thanks for joining us, Asma.
Thank you very much, Dr. Musa. A pleasure.
Yeah, so now Mike is with you.
Thank you very much. I'll be showing some slides. I hope it is visible now. Okay, so yes, I have not been a resident of Saudi, but it is an honor and it is a pleasure to be part of this interesting topic and discussion. And at the same time, there is a lot of learning and knowledge that I have had so far. Hearing from all the speakers that have shared their experiences and on-ground realities. So taking a step back, I will be actually talking about all what you have heard so far, why it is happening. So it is happening because there is a vision. There is a vision that Saudi leadership, the leadership of the kingdom has envisioned for 2030. And my focus will be about the rewarding opportunities that have been envisioned in that particular theme, and what are the prospects of investment in the long run that have been seen. Giving you a brief background, Dr. Musa has already introduced. I will just add to it that I've got like 16 years of industry experience, mainly in UAE and a bit in Pakistan. I have primarily been into financial planning of FMCG, manufacturing, energy and retail sectors. And I have mainly worked with the leadership of the different companies who actually work on the business visions and forecasts and budgets and new prospects and products of the company. So Saudi Vision 2030. Now the bit I'm talking about is about thriving economy. The word thriving is a very interesting word. The synonym, if you see, is the best synonym that comes up is basically flourishing. This is the second theme of Saudi Vision, and with this vision, the kingdom's leadership aims at building the KSA as a potential investment powerhouse. Now we will be talking about two main parts, which is rewarding opportunities and investing in the long run. Rewarding opportunities. Now there are four pillars, or there are four concepts behind introducing the rewarding opportunities, which is learning for working, boosting small businesses and productive families, providing equal opportunities, and attracting the talents which are needed. Now, if you look at the vision, it's not just a theoretical script. It is basically supported with clear-cut goals, and there are some commitments under those particular themes that the leadership has committed to provide. So you can see under this theme of rewarding opportunity, there is a goal of having an unemployment rate down from 11.6% to 7%. There is an aim to increase SME contribution to GDP from 20 to 35%, And there is an increase in the women's participation also foreseen from 22% to 30%. The two broad commitments which have been discussed in the vision are an education that contributes towards the economic growth and a bigger and vital role for SMEs. Now we will discuss all these bits one by one. So the first concept under rewarding opportunity is learning for working. So what is going to really happen under that? Considering the skills and competencies of young men and women, which are one of the most important and cherished assets, the vision aims at investing in the education and training so that a culture is built to make the most of their potential and make them equipped for the future jobs. Now, this includes developing early childhood education, refinement of the national curriculum, and training teachers and educational leaders. The National Labour Gateway aims at redoubling the efforts to ensure that the outcome from the education system comes at par with the market needs. Also, vocational training will be expanded in order to drive the forward economic development. This will be steered through prestigious universities offering scholarship opportunities in fields of national priorities with a focus on innovation in advanced technologies, entrepreneurship, so that talent is rewarded and acknowledged. The second theme is boosting small businesses and productive families. So now how that will be achieved. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, which are among the most important agents of economic growth. Why? Because they create jobs, they support innovation, and they boost exports. Therefore, this vision aims at striving to create suitable job opportunities for Saudi citizens by supporting SME entrepreneurship, privatization, and investments in new industries. The SME authority in Saudi will encourage young entrepreneurs with providing them business-friendly regulations, easier access to funding, international partnerships, and a great share of national procurement and government bids. Productive families now enjoy vast marketing opportunities through social media and digital platforms. The SME authority also facilitates access to these channels, enable microfinancing, and motivating the non-profit sector to build the capabilities of productive families and fund their initiatives. Moving to the third concept, which is about providing equal opportunities, and I believe this is the most important pillar. Now, this aims at providing opportunities for everyone, men, women, young, old, with a renewed emphasis on the culture of high performance. The skills of youth will be guaranteed through skill development and proper deployment. While many other countries are concerned with aging of population, we can see that more than half of the Saudi population is below the age of 25 years. This demographic dividend of youth energy will be harnessed by expanding entrepreneurship and enterprise opportunities. On the other side, Saudi women are another great asset. We can see that over 50% of the university grads are females. Their talent and capabilities will be developed, which will enable them to strengthen the future and contribute to the development of our society and economy. Also, people with disabilities, as we call here in UAE, people of determination, they will also receive the education and job opportunities, which will ensure their independence and integration as effective members of society, so that they are also put on the path of commercial success. And the last one, attracting the talents needed. Now, to achieve the desired rate of economic growth, the kingdom will require an environment that attracts necessary skills, not only attract necessary skills and capabilities, but also to retain them. And this will be both from within the kingdom and beyond national borders. Non-Saudis will be offered improved living and working conditions. They will be able to own real estate in certain areas. They will have permits to establish private schools. An effective and simple system for issuing visas and residence permits will be ensured to facilitate all these things. Vision 2030 aims at attracting and retaining finest Saudi and foreign minds and providing them with all they need, whose presence in the kingdom will contribute towards economic development and attract additional foreign direct investment. if we just producing a synopsis, what exactly is given under this vision is that under rewarding opportunities, there are goals of reducing the unemployment rate and increasing the SME contribution towards GDP and increasing women's participation in the workforce. So what exactly is aimed at? Education, a focus towards education that contributes to economic growth, which is higher education matching the job market requirements, while at the same time establishing the job market and creating job opportunities, career counseling and training and development. And by year 2030, at least 5 Saudi universities are aimed to be among the top 200 universities in the international rankings, with sophisticated database tracking students, education, planning, monitoring, evaluation, and outcome. This is under the sector of education, which is planned. Now, if we summarize the bigger role for SMEs, which has been seen, is that SMEs' contribution towards GDP will be increased with enhanced access to funding from financial institutions, establishment of new business incubators, special training institutions, and venture capital funds, and further facilitation of SMEs through e-commerce and collaboration with foreign shareholding. So moving to the second main component of how a thriving economy will be realized is investing in the long run. Now under that investing in the long term, there are 3 main components or themes or visions, which is maximizing the investment capabilities, launching promising sectors, and privatizing government services. Again, this is not just a theoretical concept. They have envisioned it in terms of clear-cut outcomes and goals, which is like moving from kingdom from current position as 19th largest economy in the world into the top 15, and to increase the localization of oil and gas sectors from 40% to 75%, and to increase public investment funds assets from 600 billion Saudi riyal to over 700 trillion. Now that's a it's a huge goal. But then the leadership is also providing some kind of commitments, such as localized defense industries, a mining sector contributing to the national economy at full potential, and a renewable energy market, about which you already heard details from Mr. Shahid. Now we will see three of these components in detail as to what exactly is planned. The ongoing privatization. So the first one is maximizing investment capabilities, and the ongoing privatization of state-owned asset companies, properties, and other assets will enhance kingdom's financial resources and economic stability, which will be reinvested for the long-term impact. Investment vehicles, particularly after transferring the ownership of Aramco to Public Investment Fund, which will become the largest sovereign wealth fund in the world, will be increased in terms of efficiency of the fund management and improved ROI. The kingdom shall build on leading position and historic alliances to enter long-term partnerships with neighbors and friendly countries for knowledge of transfer and trade. To facilitate formation of an advanced financial and capital market open to the world, there will be access to investing and trading in the stocks market. The process of listing private Saudi companies and state-owned enterprises, including Aramco, will be smoothened by deepening liquidity in the capital markets, fortifying the role of debt market, and paving the way for the derivative market. The second role will be of launching promising sectors. Now, promising sectors are envisioned to become new pillars of our economy. There will be localization of non-oil segments such as renewable energy, industrial equipment sectors. In tourism and leisure sectors, attractions will be created of the highest international standards, improved visa issuance procedures for visitors, and development of historical and heritage sites. In technology, investments will be increased in the digital economy. There will be incentives for mining, for the exploration of kingdom's mineral resources. At the same time, as diversifying the economy, there will be localization of oil and gas sector as well. which will be in the form of creation of a new city dedicated to energy. Gas production shall be doubled with a national gas distribution network. Our global leadership and expertise, Kingdom's global leadership and expertise in oil and petrochemicals will be used to invest in the development of adjacent and supporting sectors. And the last one is privatizing some government services. Private sector, it currently contributes less than 40% of GDP. To increase its long-term contribution to the economy, new investment opportunities will be opened along with facilitation of investment, innovation and competition, and removal of all obstacles preventing the private sector from playing a larger role in the development. There will be improvements, there will be reforms in the regulations through privatization of healthcare and education that are currently provided by the public sector. Now, there is another important thing which has been envisioned is government's role will be shifted from providing services to focus on regulating and monitoring them. Increased private sector contributions shall be sought both locally and internationally under healthcare, municipal services, housing, finance, and energy. Now, summarizing, we can see the goals under the investment in the long run were moving into the top 15 world economies, localization of oil and gas sectors, and increase of public investment funds. So what is going to happen is localized defense industries. How this is going to happen? Reducing the military spending by localizing more than 50% of equipment spending by 2030. This will bring a stimulus to supporting sectors such as industrial equipment, communication, IT, etc. And this will further improve self-sufficiency in manufacturing, maintenance, repairs, research and development. Under the mining sector, Kingdom is blessed with rich mineral resources such as aluminum, phosphate, gold, copper and uranium. Mining sector is planning to reach 97 billion Saudi Riyal by 2020, creating 90,000 jobs. Formation of strategic international partnerships to raise the competitiveness and productivity of national companies. Renewable energy segment, an initial target of generating 9.5 gigawatt of renewable energy to cater to increase in energy consumption by 2030. King Salman Renewable Energy Initiative will encourage public-private partnership, and the gradual liberalization of fuel markets will guarantee the competitiveness of renewable energy sector. Now, Vision 2030 aims at improving the quality of education and tailoring it to the workforce needs of a modern economy. It is aimed at providing greater opportunities for women and people with disabilities so that they can join the workforce. It is planning to nurture a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship and growth of SMEs. It aims at creating more attractive working and living conditions for the foreign talent. It also aims at improving the business environment through regulatory reforms, revamping economic cities, and establishing new special investment zones. Maximization of investment opportunities by making PIF the largest sovereign wealth fund in the world through the sale of state assets, privatizing selected industries and attracting foreign direct investments, eliminating many oil subsidies to help modernize the oil sector while capitalizing upon downstream opportunities in oil and petrochemicals, as well as exploiting the mining of natural resources, building renewable energy and military industrial sectors, and further developing the retail, tourism, and manufacturing sectors, and creating a regional logistical hub while integrating Saudi Arabia more tightly into the regional and global economies. So, a Saudi Vision 2030, it massively relies on government spending and the ability to attract foreign capital, particularly in areas like public investment fund funded mega projects. Saudi Arabia has already identified the fundamental reforms required for the kingdom's long-term economic health, and it has begun the work, as we have seen in the previous discussion, for implementing in many of them. The core doctrines of Vision 2030 still ring true: the need for job creation, boosting the private sector, diversifying economy, and investing in sectors where Saudi Arabia can be globally competitive. The serious commitment to education and human capital development, which is seen from the vision, will eventually lead to the long-term fruits of the vision. I would like to thank you for the time and wish Saudi Arabia all the best in implementing their vision. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. I think the information that you gave is right on figures and target, and investors got a clear idea about it. I want to thank you for giving with us, and I'm looking forward to have you in our next shows. So with this, we will move to our next speaker. Next speaker is really interesting. He's based in Saudi Arabia, and he's an expert of financial management and the business merger and acquisition. He can transform any business idea into a business plan. And so please welcome Najam Mughal. Hi Najam, how are you doing today?
Pretty well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good too. So thanks for asking. And now the mic is with you.
Thank you very much. I hope we all can look at the screen as well. So today we'll be discussing about the fintech landscape and the opportunities in Saudi Arabia. These are interesting times for both Saudi Arabia and the changing dynamics, which the previous speaker talked about, and also in regards to the fintech sector. So overall, the four things we should be discussing is the overview of the fintech sector, the regulations and the government policies, the role of incumbents, and the overall role of industry stakeholders, incubators, accelerators, academia, universities from there. In regards to the pillar of the fintech ecosystem, as we know, so we need to look at it from a holistic point of view, where there are universities and research institutions. Then we always go towards the government and regulators. So within the universities, we have the startups. Currently there are 155 fintech registered with Fintech Saudi Arabia. These are the startups. The users, we see the transactions done by users increasing by almost 18 to 20% over the past 2 years. Now there are over 22 million users who are benefiting from these fintech, you can say, startups and overall services. Then there are technology firms which are fairly active, whether it's in terms of API or machine learning or blockchain. Things are coming up from the government and regulators' point of view, as well as we also see SAMA and CMA has been fairly active, and we'll talk about it later. Also, the investors are fairly active until now, although it's in infancy, but $23 million have been raised in the past 5 years by fintech startups, and it's going to increase further. There are also financial institutions and incumbents, existing banks and financial service companies, which are there. And then last but not the least, the accelerators and incubators also come there. So in terms of the overall successful startup hub, we see the overall attributes are the entrepreneurial and innovative mindset. We see that's coming up in Saudi Arabia. The government programs and incentives. We also see the government is starting a lot of programs and help and funding and overall ecosystem developing. That we'll talk about later, which is already there. Funding, yes, there are a lot of venture capitalists and funding is available for serious startups. And they're also coming in place. Regulatory support, SAMA and CMA are actively introducing the laws, changing the laws, and they're in talks in terms of understanding the newer disruptions to accommodate these fintech startups. Also, the overall business environment, the ease of doing business index, the country competitive index, all these things also contribute within the overall ecosystem for startups. So if we look at general timeline, so a lot has been happening. Like in December 2019, from a regulatory perspective, we saw the rules of governing the microfinance companies that was released. In January 2020, we saw the payment regulation, which was released. In February 2020, we saw the insurance aggregation activities rules released. February further, we saw the digital-only bank guideline released, which is a great step as there will be branchless banks which are to come in Saudi Arabia, and we know that there are a couple already, coming up in the near future. And then in April, we saw the regulations for finance, in terms of aggregation, they were released. So a lot of aggregations are coming. In April, we had FinTech Lab experimental permits, which were given to microsukuk issuance, and the last one, which is most interesting, is the debt crowdfunding consultation announced in July, and a lot of good work is happening in that domain as well. From the community side, from May, we saw the launch of Apple Pay, and then we had Moonshot and NCB Accelerator that came up in July 2019. And then there was the launch of Riyadh Bank FinTech Fund, which is 100 million for the FinTech startups. And then Saudi Payment Company, another, there was a launch of, Athlete Program. And then KFUPM is also coming up in terms of FinTech programs. So a lot is coming up. SAMA Regulatory Sandbox has a very important place from a regulatory point of view. In 2018, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency launched its regulatory sandbox to support the development of fintech innovation in Kingdom. So since its launch, the regulatory sandbox has received over 250 applications. They have accepted over 40, graduated 14 fintech solutions. So basically the main objectives are, number one, to support the development of innovation in fintech financial sector. And the second is to fast track the services and products that support the fulfilling the unmet needs, let's say in the point of sale services or other innovations that overall the economy or the customers need. So that's where Sandbox is doing a fairly good role under the supervision of SAMA. Now, from the financial sector development program, we see a lot of initiatives which are coming up, and that's actually helping a lot. When we talk about SME finance, we see Moonshot, and Social Development Bank are collaborating in terms of indirect lending. So 40% has been the decrease in the average cost of finance for SMEs. 14.2 billion has been lent by 18 companies to 1169 different companies. Payments, we see Saudi Payment Company has been established. There are real-time payments in terms of cashless society. The goal last year was, until now, like last year, there were almost 500,000 point-of-sale devices, and 36% was the average retail digital payment for 2019, which was better than the goal of financial sector development program. So we see huge good things happening in terms of capital markets. We see a lot of IPOs are happening. There was EDA paying agent service as well, and Saudi stock market also came into MSCI member, which is a great thing. In terms of eKYC experiment, that's important. There was successful testing of remote account opening with digital KYC. So we have 12 banks that have already done that, and over 66,000 operational trials happened through that. And that further has grown up to the license of digital banks, which will come up in the future. Also, in terms of market competitiveness, the rank was 92 in 2019, which has come up to 62 in World Bank ranking. So that's a great achievement there as well. Now, from the incumbents and existing regulators' point of view, the existing banks and financial services point of view, we see all this disruption coming up. But they're rather taking these banks as enablers of those disruptors rather than looking at them as a core competition. So we'll see a lot of acquisition and funding that will happen, such as Riyadh Bank is launching a 100 million program for fintech startups. Also, we're seeing a lot of partnerships happening as well. Bank Saudi Fransi, it partnered with Fintech Hala for digital wallet. We've also seen Saudi, further from the market-driven point of view, larger, bigger banks are also coming up with innovative products to counter these disruptors. We see Alinma Pay. We can also see Saudi British Bank cross-border international transfer service, with Ripple. So that's a good, you can say, development from that side. In terms of the overall fintech startups, 2018 there were only 10. 2020 there were 60. There's 147% CAGR in terms of number of new startups coming. 36% of those startups are in the idea at the MVP, which is minimum viable product stage. 26% are pre-commercial, 20% in this testing phase, and 18% of those fintech startups are operational. So a lot is happening, and we'll see further pipeline fintech startups entering the economy. From the point of view of leading startups, we have great list of focus, mainly in the payment and currency exchange side, and in the lending and finance. We see a lot of startups in those sides as well. In the private fundraising, We have Imkan, Munafe, Mikial. They're coming up with this crowdfunding, and that will also change the startup ecosystem overall. We also in banking and infrastructure, insurance, capital markets, business tools, personal finance, all these startups are coming. In terms of funding, between May and July, we've seen startups like Lean, Munafe, Hala. Most of them are raising their Series A, pre-seed, seed rounds. But then definitely in the future, we'll see a lot of mature Series B, Series C rounds coming up as well. Just like North America, we'll see mature market coming up as well. So we can see 84% has been early stage in terms of startup deals, 6% Series A, 6% has been Series B. Challenges-wise, the biggest challenges which they have, 40% is the talent and recruitment based on the emerging needs. Regulation is a bigger factor, and the government is providing, you can say, fairly favorable regulations for them to nurture and grow. 28% of the challenges the respondents came on towards the access to customers, customer testing. It's slightly difficult. Then there's technology and product development. 25% have issues with the mentors and advisors. 23% have issues with the funding. So that's how it's overall. The challenges are still there, and they're coming up, in order to counter them. In terms of the industry verticals, what are the characteristics and which field they are? As we discussed, 41% are in the payments and currency exchange, 18% lending and finance, 12% in the lending tools, 10% in the private fundraising, crowdfunding, these startups, 7% in the personal finance, and 4% in banking and finance infrastructure. That's what they are. In terms of the opportunities, we see that 70%, there are certain goals, but 70%, is the goal for e-payment, by 2030, which is fairly achievable. 36.2% has already been reached. And what they are aiming is that 80% of its adult citizens will have a bank account by 2020. And that's why digital bank will also play a key role for millennials. And as far as those people who don't want to go to the branch, and almost 28.8 billion is the e-commerce market size. So definitely we'll have more opportunities for the digital payments, SMEs finance, and business tools. Overall, 30 billion will be the remittance market size there. Also, the last but not the most important thing is the Kareem Mafia effect. We saw in the older times when PayPal was sold, there were a series of entrepreneurs that came out of PayPal. And that's the similar thing we'll see from Kareem's alumni in the region. We're seeing multiple startups coming out of ex-alumni of Kareem in every domain, including fintech. And that's as more and more of these startups, which are fintech, will mature, there will be further entrepreneurs coming up into this domain, whether it's fintech or overall startup culture, that will further drive the economy. So with that, I'll be finishing the overall presentation. So yes.
Very insightful information, and I'm sure that the listener across the globe might has got a lot of value out of it. And you're right that the future of the world is in blockchain, fintech, digitalization, and Saudi Arabia has already adopted this vision and has been heavily invested. So all those companies who are really interested to invest in these fields in Saudi Arabia, I think that you are the right person to prepare their business plans and give them a local facts and figures in order to make a prudent decision. So my question from you is that what you think, like in Saudi Arabia, if fintech in next 10 years, where you see as a future of fintech in Saudi Arabia?
Indeed, a couple of great initiatives that we've worked on, and we have a very strong idea. Let's say digital banking. Digital banking, Sama is fairly encouraging in that regard. So we'll see a series of digital banks coming up, which will be branchless, and everything will be online. So that's a very good disruption, and a lot of new companies will come in. Also, we've seen in debt crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding. We're actually working and assisting our clients as well in that domain already. So under the supervision of Sama, we can see, imagine one crowdfunding platform. They're actually providing 5 to 10 startups the required funding of 5 million on a monthly base. So we'll have 5 to 10 such platforms, which will be in the near future. So the kind of VC funding, the overall ecosystem they are giving rise to is massive and phenomenal. So overall, the number one until now focus has been the payments and the disbursements, but overall, the overall shift will shift towards digital banking, and then we'll see further giving rise to venture capital, crowdfunding, and other things which will help the retailers as well as supply chain managers and others. So certainly there's a lot to be explored, and basically the overall fintech sector is regulatory driven. So SAM and CMA are keeping a very, you can say, supportive and very aggressive way of accommodating all these startups in terms of giving them regulations, funding. Overall ecosystem is helping as well. So definitely all these segments, whether it's digital banking, payments, crowdfunding, they will further grow into the overall country. So we see fairly positive.
That sounds really amazing, and thank you very much, Najam, for your valuable input, and I'm looking forward to have you in my next shows.
Thank you very much. Your pleasure. Thank you.
So with this, we will move towards our next speakers. It was a panel, but both doctors are in their urgent surgeries. I will just introduce you briefly, and we have already recorded their views and insights, and which will be available on our website. I will tell you just like what they were going to talk, because it was really important. They were going to talk about the future of robotic surgery in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabian industry is growing in terms of health sector. So I think it will be worth to watch these videos on our website. And with that, I'll move to our next speaker. Let me introduce you. She is a very dynamic healthcare professional and is being in the Middle East region quite long. She has played a very dynamic contribution, and she has been contributing to the health industry, and she is representing, she has represented and been connected with a lot of high network chain of healthcare. So Helen, yes, how are you? Oh, that's great. I think your mic is mute.
Oh, I think it's okay now. How are you doing, Dr. Musa?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. And we are really excited to know about the facts and achievements and in your way, that because you are looking into from a longer perspective. So now mic is in your hand, please.
Brilliant. Well, without further ado, let me just share my presentation on the screen, and I will go through the needful. So bear with me. Fantastic. So without further ado, I am going to be talking to you today about investment opportunities within healthcare in Saudi Arabia. So we will just start off with the agenda. So today I will be going into a small introduction about myself, then introducing investment opportunities within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We'll then have a look at some statistics around investment across all industries in the Kingdom. We will then zone in a little bit further just onto healthcare specific statistics. Then we'll discuss why healthcare. Then we'll do some hot takes on what I think are key areas of interest within healthcare to invest in. And then last but not least, we will close with a Q&A. So a little bit about me, as Dr. Musa said, my name is Helena Gorbert. I'm currently the Group Recruitment Manager of Saudi German Hospitals Group, which is one of the largest and one of the oldest hospital groups, private hospital groups in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, I've been in the industry for 8 years, so not too far off from a decade now. And as you can imagine, over these last 8 years, I've seen a lot of changes in the trends within the healthcare space in the GCC region and Saudi Arabia as a focus. I'm a guest speaker with Berkeley Middle East, and I'm honoured today to be joining them for yet another webinar that is being held. I'm also the winner of the World Medical Council's HR Professional Excellence Award 2019. So Saudi Arabia holds very exciting potential and opportunity for investors with factors such as a G20 economy, a young and highly educated population of more than 30 million people. It also boosts a strategic location in the heart of major trade routes crossing 3 continents and bountiful national resources. As part of Vision 2030, a wide range of economic reforms have succeeded in creating new business opportunities in the kingdom. Launched in 2016, as others have said earlier on today, Vision 2030 aims to grow and diversify the kingdom's economy. Now, the government has launched a major privatisation programme aimed at unlocking state-owned assets and also at increasing private sector participation. Therefore, the kingdom's business environment has opened up and it is rapidly transforming. This is reflected in the fact that Saudi Arabia rose 30 places in the World Bank's most recent Ease of Doing Business report. Now, no country in the world saw a faster rise in such a short amount of time. The momentum is a clear signal that Saudi Arabia is a future-forward economy offering untapped potential and unique business opportunities. So now we're just going to have a closer look at some statistics about Saudi Arabia and investment opportunities as a whole. So we may have heard some of these earlier today, but it's nice to have a refresher and to anybody else new that may be joining today. So the total population currently stands at 33.4 million. The population is actually expected to grow 1.6% in the next 5 years. The Saudi labour force is currently made up of 3.2 million participants. They have a nominal GDP of 782 billion. The GDP per capita is currently sitting at 23,570. And FDI inward stock of 230.8 billion US dollars. Now, if we look at healthcare statistics more specifically, last year Saudi Arabia had the largest healthcare expenditure in the whole of the GCC region. It sat at 34 billion US dollars. Currently in the kingdom, there is over 480 hospitals. There's actually over 5,000 clinics. And talking from a human resources perspective, there is over 394,000 healthcare professionals in the kingdom at present day. This makes up for 72,900 hospital beds. Now, 54% of clinics are currently private versus 24% of hospitals, and we're definitely seeing that grow and grow as we go on. So why healthcare? So there's a few reasons, and I will briefly go into them today. So the Saudi Ministry of Health has launched several public-private partnership initiatives in line with its National Transformation Programme, that is PPP as mentioned in point 1. Such programs seek to expand and improve the country's healthcare sector through both foreign and domestic private investment. In 2017, the Saudi Arabian General Investment Authority authorised 100% ownership to foreign investors in the healthcare industry. Going on now to 2020 this year, the government also made a budgetary allocation of 167 billion Saudi riyals towards the privatisation of 295 hospitals, and that will be achieved by 2030. This will obviously help with the improvement of medical education and digitisation of patient records. According to Colliers International, who are the international professional services investment company firm, they expected investment in the Saudi healthcare sector till 2030, largely from the private sector, to be worth between 16.2 and 26.3 billion US dollars. Now, that is absolutely substantial. Furthermore, according to Clifford Chance, the global law firm, investors could be looking at an internal rate of return between 15 and 20%, which therefore indicates a very profitable sector. So areas of interest, of course, healthcare is a very wide scope. There is numerous specialties in which a business could perhaps look to going in. So I'm giving my top 3 hot takes and why I think they are a good area of investment to go into within healthcare. So we start off with endocrinology. Now, diabetes, it's no secret, it is very prevalent in the GCC region. Saudi Arabia itself actually sees figures of 18.5% of the adult population suffering from diabetes, 35% from obesity, and 23% from hypertension. Now, this coincides with an EY report that predicted 6 major investment opportunities for the GCC healthcare market by 2025, with diabetes having a notable mention. So then we move on to daycare surgery centres. Now, due to advancements in healthcare technology, several daycare treatments and procedures have significantly increased, resulting in a higher demand for daycare surgery centres. The demand for daycare surgery centres has also increased regionally and in the kingdom due to a prevalence of lifestyle diseases. Now, we mentioned before diabetes and obesity, but also depression, strokes, cardiovascular diseases and blood pressure do fall into this category and do not always need to be treated in a traditional hospital setup. Last but not least, I'm going to talk a little bit about cosmetic and dermatological centres. So in the Middle East, Lebanon, United Arab Emirates and Turkey have historically been to the go-to places to offer such cosmetic enhancements for patients from the GCC region. But with the global cosmetic procedure market showing an annual growth rate of 5.7%, it makes perfect sense to offer such services a little bit closer to home. Now, the Saudi Plastic Surgery Care Society holds yearly conferences, they have regular seminars and even allows for membership. And currently they have 403 plastic surgery physicians registered on the platform. So this does show an availability of cosmetic enhancements in the kingdom. And I believe that is something that is just going to grow and exceed. So thank you very much for listening today. And I do welcome any questions that anybody may have.
That you are going to join us, so I will be the voice of them and will be asking these questions. So my first question is those of our friends who are listening from United States and UK and they want to enter, these are doctors, high-end skills and nurses, and this is your right profession. I think I should ask this question, that what you advise them, what are the pre-steps that they should take, and then what are the post impacts they are going to face in Saudi Arabia?
So do you mean from a perspective whereby like a healthcare professional is coming or somebody that is looking to set up a business perhaps?
Yeah, so particularly I asking about the healthcare professional, and later we will discuss about the investors.
Okay, fantastic. So actually, popular to contrary belief, it's not that difficult for healthcare professionals to seek work and even get licensed for practice in Saudi Arabia. So very similar to the UAE, how they have the Dubai Health Authority or the Health Authority Abu Dhabi, we also have Saudi Commissions, which is the licensing board in Saudi Arabia. Now, I do even find it perhaps a little bit more easier to obtain than perhaps in neighbouring GCC countries, because there's a lot of exemption from any exams that need to take place, and it's purely a paperwork process. So what I recommend for any healthcare professionals who are looking to make that move is do invest in the licensing procedure, which is not too difficult at all. It's just about gathering your papers and documents, and then it will definitely open many doors for opportunities. Now, as you can imagine, what I have explained today, there is a lot of growth, a lot of new hospitals coming up, and a lot of people are wanting to invest in a recession-proof industry such as healthcare. But I think what isn't being thought about is the human resources behind that. I mean, it's all very well and good investing in these new healthcare setups, but who is going to work there? So we are very much welcoming expatriates with open arms. And yeah, I think that it is a great place to work, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
That's amazing. So what kind of faculties are more required in terms of, are you looking for dermatologist and or maybe like heart specialists? What are the most demanded, or you can say the one that should look into Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if you would have just obviously seen the presentation that I've done, you'd think like off the top of your head, oh yes, diabetes, surgery, dermatology is like a very popular specialty. But what I've actually observed is that, yes, they are needed and in demand in the kingdom, but it actually goes so much wider than that. Now, thinking about the expatriate physicians that I have brought into the kingdom, say in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of specialties there, apart from the ones just mentioned, such as orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, general surgery and its subspecialties, and of course there is also positions such as obs and gynae and dermatology and women's health, because one thing that I have noticed within healthcare trends, say in the last year or so, is that a lot of hospitals are now taking the approach where they offer what we call a centre of excellence. So they would have like a surgery centre of excellence or a women's health centre of excellence. So you can think any of the positions that would fall into that category are much wanted at the moment in the kingdom.
Oh, that's good. And what about male and female requirement as health professionals? Like, do you think that Saudi Arabia is looking for more female than a male, or what could be the proximal ratio?
It's hard to say. I mean, demographically, I notice there are more males that are relocating to the kingdom, but then again, that could be because they are more readily available to do so. I mean, a lot of women perhaps have families that maybe might not want to relocate. So it's different in that sense. But what I can say is that there are some positions that are mutually kind of exclusive for female candidates. So, for example, a lot of the roles that come under women's health, such as obstetrics and gynecology, are usually taken by female candidates, as are dermatology positions. So, yeah, that's what I've observed. It's mainly males, but there are positions which are exclusively for females. So we do welcome females. I mean, I probably travel to the kingdom a few times a year, and I really love it there. So I would definitely vouch for more females to come to the kingdom.
That's great. And how you see the keyhole surgery, minimum invasive surgeries, the robotic surgery future in Saudi Arabia?
So I think that it's definitely something that is up and coming, and I know that we've had some really great conversations today around robotic surgery, keyhole surgery, even telemedicine earlier today, and I think it is something that's definitely becoming more kind of wider known in the kingdom. And as we are having these technological advances, we are then kind of bringing that technology to the kingdom. So I think it's a very, very interesting concept.
That's great. And my last question from you is, I want to give a value to the audience by sharing your travel experience to Saudi Arabia. You are based in Dubai, you frequently travel to Saudi Arabia. And so what is your positive feedback about them?
Oh, okay, I'd love to. So what I've started by answering this question to let you know that I have been stuck in Dubai since about February or March this year, and I'm extremely sad because I used to travel to the kingdom on business at least once every month, once every 2 months, and that has been the regular thing for the last 2.5 years. But obviously, because of the current goings on in the world and the coronavirus pandemic that we are facing, I haven't been able to visit Saudi Arabia for quite a few months, but I will be going in early 2021. Now, I absolutely love it. I find the climate very, very, very appealing. I mean, to put it into perspective, when I cannot even leave my home in June in Dubai because of the heat, I can happily sit outside in Saudi Arabia in June. So the climate is much more forgiving. We have quite a large geographical footprint at Saudi German Hospitals Group. So our flagship site is in Jeddah, which is on the coast. We then have Riyadh, which is in the center of the country. We have Dammam in the eastern province, and we have smaller hospitals in smaller cities such as Asir and Ha'il. Now, for example, our hospital in Asir, I think it rains most days of the year. So it's a very, very unique dynamic. But as a woman traveling to the kingdom, I absolutely love Saudi Arabia. I adore it. I find everybody very hospitable, and I don't really have a bad word to say about it. So I really do look forward to seeing the 2030 vision achieved and seeing what the future has in store for Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's great. Your message is loud and clear to the public, and I think it is quite guidery in principle as well to the listeners. And with this, I want to thank you for being in this show, and I'm looking forward to have you in our other shows as well in the future.
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Musa. It was a pleasure. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you, everybody.
So let's move to the conclusion of our discussion of the day. It was a lovely day, and invest in Saudi Arabia topic itself is very close to my heart, and all my efforts, my sincere wishes with Saudi Arabia for the vision of 2030, and we are doing our best to bring businesses in Saudi Arabia, because the trust that we acquired living in these countries is always helpful. We found Saudi people are really nice, welcoming, educated, prosperous, and progressive. And this is our message from today, from this event, and inviting several people and giving an insight about Saudi Arabia. We feel that it is very appropriate to highlight the Vision 2030, highlight that Saudi Arabia is a place to invest. Saudi Arabia is going to be a tourist hub for the region. Saudi Arabia is GDP is growing. They have already crossed approx $800 billion dollar, which is extremely a good economy. So everything is fit in place. You already saw there are fintech opportunities, there are healthcare opportunities, there are opportunities in almost all the sectors: manufacturing, non-manufacturing, services, hotel, tourism, entertainment. And these all sectors are inviting not only the mega and massive investors, but they are looking for SMEs opportunities also. So the world is open, Saudi Arabia is open, and post COVID-19, once we are expecting the vaccinations, and as we heard that in Saudi Arabia, vaccination will be free for all. So these kind of generous leadership and vision compel us to we explore Saudi Arabia, we look into, and if anyone is looking to invest in, they can approach Berkeley Middle East, they can approach me, they can approach our team who are here to help you to find the right business plan, the right people, and secure right funding and financing, and guide you from A to Z, all the processes. With this, I will conclude the session of the day, and I hopeful to see you in the next coming shows. Till then, take care of yourself, and goodbye.